Impressive for Rita tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very.
Yeah, I figured for a long career, stuff just happens.
Well, you figure, like you said, they're not throwing a whole lot of interceptions, and I don't think he fumbled that much. Actually, let's check on that real quick. Exactly how many fumbles did Jerry Rice have? He had a total of 16 fumbles in his career.
Wow.
Now, if you fumble, you're probably not tackling the guy who made you fumble.
Not normally.
Not normally. You'd be remiss to say otherwise. And then most of the other time, it's probably on the other side of the field if they're throwing picks. So 7 makes pretty good sense. What do you say? We toasted up to reenact that, right?
Yeah, wow.
Thank
I think
you.
I got my shot glass over there.
On the night that nobody is here.
Well, you know what? The people, listening and watching home. Speaking of which, we are live on Facebook and YouTube.
Come watch us.
Machine Washable. Ooh, a little shot, I see.
Listen, it's going to be a long
It's
night.
be a long show. That's the responsible thing to do.
Yes.
Well, to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
It's still not good.
So momentarily, Machine Washable will be giving us a call on Skype there. So don't be alarmed when you hear the weird ringing.
Do. Oh, wait, that's trademarked, isn't it? Sorry. So let's talk about last night real quick. We had 2 awesome Game 7s finish up.
Yes.
I think the one that is overshadowing almost everything right now is Kawhi's, buzzer beater, which was phenomenal. That has one of my favorite pictures of all time, just seeing him crouched on the ground like that, just staring at it. Fantastic. I don't think you have plays like the Minnesota Miracle that stands out to me recently, where the announcer sees it happen and they just freak out.
Yeah.
This was very tame.
It was almost like it was expected. As soon as he had the ball in his hand, that he was just going to make the shot.
4 bounces.
Yeah. I saw this thing. I think it was like Barstool that posted about it. The double doink became the quadruple doink.
It's too bad it wasn't Chicago.
I know.
So with that, you end up having Toronto going up against the Bucks in the conference finals. Who you think? Who you got?
Early in this year, I had a lot of faith in Milwaukee.
Yep.
And I'm going to hold on to it. I can't betray it now. There was, when the Celtics had won that game 1, I think there was a belief that momentum perhaps has shifted. They found their way. I didn't have those doubts.
Yeah, then Milwaukee tend to turn around and just curb stomp them into the ground.
Yeah. So I think that this trend will continue. I think there's definitely that momentum riding with Toronto right now. You got to be hyped. To win that way in that fashion, to go right down to the wire and win. I think there's momentum. But I think just every so often the team, it's like it's their year.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to win, but to go to the finals or the Super Bowl.
And then you have those teams like the Patriots or the Warriors who are just going to come out and ruin it.
Right. You're kind of alluding to what my theory is going to be. But I think, this is Milwaukee's series to lose. I'm anticipating them to win in 5. I think they're not bulletproof. I think they definitely can falter, but I just think there's with Giannis, playing like he is. I think it's enough to get the job done. And to me, if that's the only thing that the team needs, then that's good enough.
Yep.
Like I said, it's just there's those teams that sometimes they have that time where it's theirs. So that's kind of my thinking on that series.
Listeners, you know that basketball is not one of my strong subjects, so if I'm wrong about this part, forgive me.
You are not forgiven.
My understanding is that the Bucks are a relatively young team. And if I'm wrong about this in the next 30 seconds, it's going to sound ludicrous. But there's something to be said for young teams getting in their own heads, especially when they're marching on. They beat Detroit they went up 4-0 in the series. And then they went up 4-1 on Boston. There's something to be said for a team that gets a little bit too full of themselves. The Bucks are that team. They certainly haven't seemed to be that team yet. But I really think that, like you said, they're going to come through, and I have it going to Game 6. I do think that the Raptors will pull out at least 2. Because I love Kawhi Leonard. I really do. Since starting to watch basketball a little bit, he really is my favorite player, and that's not just because everybody chose the Raptors to be my favorite.
That's true. I forgot about that.
I love watching him play. He's just a whole lot of fun. It saddens me to think he may not be a Raptor after this year.
Well, I'll tell you what. If they go on to win,
you never know.
I think definitely
That's going to segue into my next question to you. So let's talk about Game 7 last night. Trailblazers beat the Nuggets last night. I don't want to say in not as convincing of a fashion, but definitely not as flashy of a spectacle.
Right.
The Raptors definitely overshadowed in that, but the Blazers looked really good against OKC. Nuggets struggled a little bit going up against the Spurs. It was really hard fought series between the two of them going into Game 7. It really was. But speaking on that, I really think that going up against the Warriors, I don't know how much faith I have in the Blazers.
Well, you said it yourself. I think it was a really good series, and it was probably one of the better matchups I feel of the teams that went at it. There's a lot of glamour when you talk, Rockets, Warriors. There's that glamour factor. I'm just making up that saying.
Yes,
but a lot of prestige. Very flashy, the threes and lack thereof defense. It's a high scoring game, so that kind of overshadows a lot of kind of like fundamental basketball. And I think this series, the Nuggets Blazers, was a series that represented that. So that was a good series to watch. And you said it yourself that it was kind of overshadowed by the big finish in Toronto there. But with that being said, as I'm babbling here, the Blazers have the work cut out for them. I think if they had won in a more impressive fashion in Denver, they didn't go, a full series. I think I'd have more confidence. These Blazers are, to be reckoned with.
But how can you? I mean, you watch the Rockets go. I mean, not that the Jazz were a majorly threatening team. Very good team, don't get me wrong. But the Rockets went up on them 4-1 in the series and then got trounced by the Warriors. It just happens.
My thing is, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, like teams that are kind of like snake bitten. And I think the Rockets, these Rockets anyway, are kind of like that. As long as Golden State is the squad it is, I think I thought last year was the year they're going to break through, and I really believe that this was the year they were going to break through. Like, they couldn't get them last year.
You do like your Houston teams.
I do, and I'm heartbroken to say the least. That to have kind of go down and have the momentum swing back, and then to lose the way they did, and the whole Durant thing. Like, I get it. It's like always one of arguably the best guy in the court. And he's out. So hey, this is their window. They got the advantage now, and the Warriors do what they do. It's still,
Just talking on that, I was reading a lot of NBA to try and prep myself for today, and I came across something. I don't know how often this term is used, but I read a couple places that they call Clay and Steph the Splash Bros.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
That's the stupidest nickname for a tandem I've ever heard.
I
understand the meaning behind it, but the Splash Bros, really?
It's just modern NBA in the world we live in with social media and all that. It's just,
in 20 years, the NBA is going to become the WWE.
I hope so. That'd be cool. Yeah, it's a lame nickname, and I'm sure it'll last forever. And they'll go into the Hall of Fame together as the Splash Brothers. And I'll hate them forever.
So you talked about if the Raptors end up winning it all, Kawhi may come back. I've heard rumors that Durant being gone is not a foregone conclusion. And I don't know how much I believe that.
So everything that I've kind of heard and when I've talked, with the Riddler and Souls and J-Mart is that eventually that this Golden State team can't stay together. The money won't work out that way.
No, absolutely not. But is that it?
I think it's him trying to call in.
All right. Finish up my thought real quick then. Durant is going to end up being that player who got his rings and is now going for the money. How much do you think that's going to happen?
I think it is going to happen. I think he's going to go
where the money is.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. He got, like you said, he got his ring.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, kind of like if Boogie gets the ring this year, he's out of there. He's going to go sign this outrageous contract. So yeah, sorry, just trying to see if
that is Mark trying to call in. He just texted us.
It's weird. He rung for a second. Mark, why don't you try again? But
I don't know. I think it would be great to see Durant leave, if only because I don't like how much power a superstar has in the NBA as compared to a league like the NHL or the MLB. Superstar is going to make a lot of difference in those leagues, but not nearly to the effect that it does for the NBA.
Right. And also, too, like, I mean, we've seen the Golden State win without Durant, so there's no question about that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see him if he goes somewhere like perhaps in the West to make another team competitive. Because in my opinion, I think, I just anticipate Golden State winning again. I hope not, but it seems to kind of be the trend.
Yeah, I mean,
and let's see if we get him.
I don't think there's anything really to stand in their way. The only ones that I really believe have a shot are the Bucks. I think the Raptors will draw them out, but I don't think they'll beat them.
Yeah, that's kind of my. Oh, I thought we had him just a second ago.
Mike, Mock, phone, home. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. I really am curious to find out where. I think it'll be more interesting if we end up with. I really think the Eastern Conference Finals are going to be more interesting than the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, I think so too. Actually, Mark, do I hear you there?
Oh, I hear you, fellas.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, there we go. It's a little delayed. There we go. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this worked out. I can't see you, Mark, but
I can't see you guys either.
That's all right. We don't need to see Mock to love him. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Mock.
I don't say that part, Chris.
Well,
we're trying something new tonight, okay? Listen, it's just me and Red Baron tonight.
Yeah, where is everybody?
Dead and or dying.
Riddler is sick. J-Mark couldn't make it, and Kyle had another engagement he had to go to.
Rita's
here, though.
Yeah, why?
She's our chauffeur. Well, my chauffeur, anyway.
Let's be more impressed, Mock. I asked, I don't know if you were listening in earlier. I asked the question to them. Oh, there he is. Look at that handsome, beautiful man. Asked this question earlier. How many career tackles Rice have?
Jerry Rice, 14.
Close. He had 7, and Rita got it on the dot.
She looked it up.
No, she didn't.
Now, Kendall, I don't know why, but there's no sound coming through Facebook Live.
No sound coming through Facebook Live. Huh.
Well, at least we know that. All right, Mock. We have you now. Have you peed on Gillette Stadium yet?
Not yet. I think I made a mistake on this beer that I bought, though.
Yeah, what are you drinking?
Yes.
All right. It's called Citrus and Sunshine by Wormtown Brewing.
All right.
IPA, American Wheat Ale.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Classic mistake.
Then I have a 6-pack of Budweiser King cans to
There you go. To watch it down.
So.
Let me tell you, Mock, you are not missing much with the private stock. I've already had to take 2 shots, and I thought I was going to throw up both times. Not great.
Kendall, am I able to see you guys through Skype?
I'm trying to work on that right this second. So actually, we have volume through Facebook right now.
Oh, I don't know why. On mine, it's not working. I don't know. Hey, so never mind.
You could try sucking less.
It's probably this cheap hotel Wi-Fi.
More than likely.
Where are you staying?
Oh, I'm in a courtyard.
Ooh, nice. Any what's the specialty? They got like warm cookies for you or anything like that?
Courier doesn't do anything nice.
They have a team. Input doesn't change.
Hey, you can call their maintenance. They might be able to fix it.
Yeah, I did that a little while ago. They haven't come up yet.
Oh, gotta love.
I'm gonna get him on the show.
Ask him if he likes the Patriots. Then kick the shit out of him.
I don't want anyone to like the Patriots. So what are we talking about, fellas?
Well, we were talking about the NBA playoffs and leading into the conference finals, but you know how well Riddler and I do with NBA talk. So we're very happy that you're here.
Yeah, and my name's the Red Baron Mass.
Did I call you Riddler?
Yeah.
All right, time for another shot.
Because I was going to say, Riddler knows basketball.
So
You think that's why Kyle's not there tonight?
Still not good.
no, Kyle had something happen to family.
And we
Family
are
thing.
keeping Souls and his family in our prayers. Souls, you still suck though.
So yeah, we're just trying to. We're recapping. We discussed the 76ers Toronto game kind of in depth, and now we're kind of talking about the matchups coming up. And,
Okay.
So we were just talking about
Golden State.
and the Trailblazers,
yeah.
and kind of our expectations. Our Golden State was just going to roll on like they normally do. I mean, I don't know if you have any feelings otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Milwaukee Toronto matchup I think is going to be entertaining.
Yes, the Golden State Trailblazers one is not.
Golden State's going to Golden State, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give up
the-
two early games and then come back to win it all.
yeah, I mean, they're going to do what they do. Who do you guys? Did you already pick who you think wins Eastern?
So
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, I think the Bucks roll on. I think they win in 5.
I said Bucks in 6.
I think if the Bucks don't win it in 5, the Raptors win in 7.
Ooh, I like this.
Now, why do you say that? Elaborate a little bit.
And be like, why? I don't know. I mean, to me, the Raptors are red hot right now. I think they would outlast the Bucks if it went. So Milwaukee's got to get it done quick.
I can see that. Kill them before they can come back and outlast you, kind of like
Exactly.
a marathon runner. All right, I can see that. I don't hate that.
Ooh.
Mock, I'm gonna kind of steal one of your segments here now that we have a couple people to participate. We're on the subject of NBA, so I figure I give you guys 3 players. I'll give you their stat lines. You tell me who you'd rather have. So our first player, in his career, 950 games, averaged 18.5 points, averaged 9.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds a game, had a free throw percentage of 86 and an 8, and had a field goal percentage of 46.9. Our second player, 1,073 career games, averaged 22 points a game, averaged 11.7 rebounds and 4 assists, had a field goal percentage of 54.1, and had a free throw percentage of 73.5. And our last player played in 914 career games, averaged 26.7 points a game, had 4 rebounds and 6 assists, averaged a 42.5 field goal percentage, and had a free throw percentage of 78%.
Option B.
Going with option B. All right, Riddler, what do you God damn it.
Oh man, Massey's getting drunk tonight.
Red Baron, what do you think?
I'm going to go option.
Oh, Kendall figured it out.
Oh, we have sound on Facebook Live?
I can see you guys now.
Oh, that part. All right. Hey, all you people.
Oh, I gotta fix it again. So I'm going to go option A.
All right.
But
So, Mock, you have selected Sir Charles Barkley.
Nice.
Kendall, you selected Chris Paul.
ooh, well, I mean, so
Oh wait, he plays for Houston.
well, Chris Paul is a great ball player, but it doesn't have the prestige of Charles Barkley. Come on.
Player number 3 was Allen Iverson, by the way.
Yeah, I'm all right on that.
Terrible.
So that was player ABC. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Piss off if you didn't. We love you anyways. So, Mock, tell us a little bit about your journey. What have you done up there? Have you done anything fun?
No.
Just work the entire
we sat
time?
in a room today. Oh,
That's your maintenance call. We'll be back
phone's
to
ringing.
Mock in just a moment.
Excuse me.
All right. Well, I guess that kind of segues us into what we're going to talk about now is the Stanley Cup playoffs. None of us here know hockey, so this should be fun. So we're just going to go very basic on this. Right now, we are in the conference finals. Boston is up 2-0 lead on the Carolina Hurricanes. San Jose Sharks lead 1-0 against the Blues in the series. Now, unfortunately, what this leads me to believe is that Boston is going to make it to the finals again, which we all know we don't like.
Yeah, that built me out. I don't know if Mark is still connected or not.
He's there. He'll come back. I don't know that the Hurricanes have it in them, especially when they shit the bed as bad as they did last game.
Yeah, big time.
It was, 4-0 before the end of the second period? Let's see. And then San Jose is up on the Blues 1-0. I mean, you can't really talk about anything after one game. You know me, St. Louis team. I can't hate on the Blues, but I've never been one to believe in my hometown teams. So,
but why? You got to have support.
So listen, I got to tell you, the reason why is because I never really followed any major sport thoroughly until I started following football. And Baron, what was my team that I chose?
Well,
no, and no to that either. What is my actual team
for football?
Yes,
it's the Rams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember who was the coach when I first started watching the Rams?
Well, yeah, when you first started watching, it was Jeff Fisher.
Okay. Have I ever known winning football besides these last 2 years?
Perhaps not.
I've never known what it's like to win. It feels very odd to me. It's very strange to know winning feeling. The Blues have always sucked since I've watched them. Cardinals made it to a World Series and then shut the bet to the Red Sox, so there's that. I don't admittedly have a hockey team. And the Rams, up until this year, made it to the Super Bowl. They're fucking awesome. I love my team. I don't know if I believe in them every day because they're so streak on offense and defense. It's either one or the other. They aren't that complete team yet. So that's why I still have my hesitations either way. But they made it to the fucking Super Bowl. They're awesome.
Yeah, but that's like with any team. You know, you get into there's ups and downs. There's a growing curve or a growing, what do you call that? A learning curve, growing.
I'm not a tenured sports fan, though. That's why my pessimism is so high, because that's all I've ever known is negative stuff. That's why I always have the downtrodden on my teams, because I can't believe in them because they've never given me reasons to. That's my answer to why everybody gets mad at me why I'm a bad sports fan for my teams.
All right.
I do love my teams. I pray to God that they do good. I hated the Goldschmidt signing at first, and then he fucking took off like a rocket, and he's back down to earth this month. It happens. That I'm cool with. I'm learning to be okay.
And why did you dislike that signing?
Because I thought they paid him too much money, and I didn't think that he was the piece that they needed.
I mean,
I was very, very wrong, very, very fast, and I will admit that wholeheartedly. I hated when the Rams took Todd Gurley. I went on a fucking tirade on social media when they took Todd Gurley. I thought it was the worst fucking pick they ever could have made. Fucking make me crow.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting, moving forward, with the injury, if any
See, here's the thing.
Layover of that.
Starting off, when we first found out Todd Gurley's not right, Todd Gurley has a hurt knee, Todd Gurley this, Todd Gurley has arthritis, Todd Gurley that, I was very worried. Our offense runs through Todd Gurley, quite literally. But I'm going to go and take a shot for that. But the more I think about it, now that they know what's wrong with Todd Gurley, they can game plan for it. They can limit his carries. They can get the most out of him per week. Make sure he's healthy. He's ready to go. You're treating him like a 30-year-old player now rather than you're treating, a 23-year-old player.
Right.
And that's fine because the only part of him you're treating like he's 30 is his knee. Admittedly, a pretty big part of a running back, but everything else about him is usually fresh to go. You got whatever that kid's name out of Memphis is. And I'm actually pretty excited about that because way back when Sean McVay first came to the Rams, they traded for a Cowboys running back, and I cannot remember for the life of me what his name was.
Oh my God. I can't think of it right now. We'd have to look it up.
Whatever his
let me
name
jump
was.
on that.
I'm gonna take a look at this and see if I can figure it out. Um,
I can't get Austin out of my head.
no, and it's
Yeah.
not Austin. Tavon Austin might as well have been a fucking running back for as good as he was. But no, I mean, they took a Cowboys running back. That was supposed to be the exact same build as this kid they took out of Memphis. A quick change of pace back. And McVay's always been looking for that. I think the Rams have taken 2 running backs every draft except for this year when they took the kid in the 3rd round. And, it really bothered the hell out of me that they kept doing that. We have Todd Gurley. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And it's to operate in McVay's scheme, and I'm not mad with that. Lance Dunbar.
Oh, yeah. All right, real quick, keep talking. I'm going to jump off of. I'm going to restart the video, I think.
All right, we'll be back in a second with the video. But you get a change of pace back. You keep Gurley even more fresh. Nothing's really changed about the defense. Hopefully, Talib is healthy this year. The only thing we're really replacing is Sue, and I don't hate replacing him with the 4th round rookie that we got, Greg Gaines, who has the fucking coolest last name, by the way. You know what I thought was very interesting about the Steelers? They gave Devin Bush Antonio Brown's locker.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which I thought was very funny.
I don't know if that was I don't think it was meant in spite. I think it was just
no, absolutely not. It's just the first open locker. Here you go, kid. You're the first round pick.
That's
go.
Kind of my thinking.
Also, you've heard AB be referred to as Mr. Big Chest, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's not really what he originally said, right?
I feel like it's probably more vulgar.
No, actually not. So when he originally came out with that Instagram video, everybody, because AB doesn't know how to talk because he's a fucking savage, everybody thought he said Mr. Big Checks or Mr. Big Chest. What he actually said, it was right after he got paid by the Raiders, Mr. Big Checks.
Oh.
Which makes this even more funny now because he's Mr. Big Chest. But I believe that we had a very prominent player talk about retiring last night.
Yes. And well, I'm not so convinced.
You really don't think Baldwin's retired?
I don't think so. I think he will come back. I think the right offer will be on the table. I think that there's enough gas in the tank.
Tell me why.
I stood by when Megatron retired. I was like, oh, he'll be back. He'll be back for sure. And too much time has passed now, I think, for that return.
Megatron will return in 2027.
Yeah. Bigger and better than ever. I think
he'll be an actual transformer.
I think Baldwin's a little bit different because he's already had that taste of winning. Not to say that Calvin Johnson didn't, but not to the extent that Baldwin did.
Baldwin won a Super Bowl, though.
Right. What I'm saying is that because he has won Super Bowl, he's won playoff games and has been impactful. He was like touchdown leader, receiving touchdown leader in like 2015 or something like that. I think he played 7 years with the Seahawks.
You know what? Can I retroactively go back and change my toast of excellence?
Okay, to who?
To Doug Baldwin. You know how much that must kill me for
absolutely.
toasting a Seahawks player, but coming in fucking undrafted and being the safety valve that you were for years for a top 5 quarterback like that. Hats off to you, good sir. You fucking sucked every time we played you.
Well, it's just like that's like the Seahawks MO. Like, hey, here's a guy who's bagging groceries. Why don't you come suit up and play professional football?
That's our thing. That's our thing.
Well, maybe not bagging groceries, but
all right.
Changing tires,
That's fair enough. Grocery bagger is ours. If it was anything but a neck injury, I would agree with you. But that shit is scary, man.
I know it. I think something will come along, whether it's the Patriots or some team that kind of has a better chance of winning again. I guess I will say that has more promise. I think If the price is right, I think he plays again. But the window for that is this year and next. Anything after this 2-year period, no chance.
All right, let's go hypothetical then. If you were going to be Doug Baldwin, aside from the Patriots, where are you going?
Aside from the Patriots, I would consider going to like New Orleans. Because I know I wouldn't have to, be the workhorse there.
I would love to see fucking Doug Baldwin and fucking Michael Thomas. You imagine that as a 1-2 punch for a wide receiver?
It would
Holy
be
shit.
insane. It would be like the best safety blanket you could ever dream.
That's going back to fucking. It's just the tier below Welker and Moss. That's awesome.
If I was Doug Baldwin, and let's say I couldn't go to a team like that, a team with like
Do you only go to a winning team if you're Doug Baldwin?
I would go to a winning team or a team that is on the fringe. I wouldn't go to a team like Cleveland. Though they're on the upswing, I wouldn't go to Cleveland.
Can you imagine that fucking receiver core?
It would be insane.
Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, and Doug Baldwin. Holy shit. Somebody broke Madden again.
I would go to a team like maybe I'd go to a team like Dallas. Because though there's question marks with Dak. But hear me out. A team like Dallas, because Elliott is the real deal enough for me. And I think it's the type of thing. Oh, like Mark trying to call again. It's weird. It says we're logged in on Skype, but it's
He'll get there.
Not happening for us. But a team where he doesn't have to be the center of attention. The team where he doesn't, he's not going to be
where he could be a wide receiver 2, not a 1.
Right. Even a 3. A guy who comes off the bench and play a couple a little bit across the middle.
Here's one for you. Put him in Minnesota.
That'd be
fucking
interesting.
terrifying.
With Diggs and 19 there. Thielen, Adam.
I was going to see how long it took you to get there.
I just like really good numbers.
There we go.
Try it again.
All right, we're going to try this again.
I hear Mike Mock.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined
I'm
by
back in the Massachusetts groove.
Hey, are we still talking Baldwin?
Yes, we are.
All right, hold on. We're gonna try this again now that you're coming back into the call. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by
Mock.
Sheen Washable.
Ah, gross.
There we go. It just took take 2 to do it.
All right, there we go. All right, so Mock, do you think that Doug Baldwin is done?
I do think that Doug Baldwin doesn't play another snap.
It's the neck.
That guy is just hurt all the time.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because he's a fucking phenomenal player, as much as it pains me to admit that. But, God, he used to kill us every single game. Always back open in the back or back left to the end zone. Every single game.
Like, I get the significance of the injury. I just feel like there's a desire to play there. I can't believe, all the tweets and all that. I can't buy into all that stuff. I just can't. I don't know.
I'm literally retiring. Nah, no, you're not.
Well, I mean, look at Marshawn Lynch.
Lynch is a different story, though. That's his hometown team. He's always said he wanted to play.
Right.
He retired.
Go ahead.
Mike, that's a go ahead to you.
And then signed a contract like 3 days later.
Yeah, I mean, I get it's his home team and all that, but I don't know. I just
God damn.
What? Well, anyway.
That was loud. I don't know. I really can't. I don't foresee Baldwin ever playing another down. And
I really don't think so. I mean, I guess you could always say.
I'm losing him.
That's all right. He'll catch back up.
Yeah. In and out there. I think his internet connection and then maybe ours is not mentioned up. There's a
this isn't working super well.
That's all right. We'll continue to deal. So, all right. So we know that Baldwin is retired, as much as Barron doesn't think he is.
For now, he's retired.
Are we really going to continue?
I really don't think so. I mean, I guess you could always think.
Got it. Pete stepping in, helping us out here.
We got the computer wizard.
Yeah, this isn't working super well.
Where's Mark? On Skype?
He's on Skype, yeah.
Oh, you don't have him up here.
I had him for a second. I
You
think.
need to learn that from me, buddy.
Yeah, I know,
Where's
guy.
Skype?
You're doing a great job.
Where's Skype?
Skype down.
Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse the technical difficulties. Oh, look at that big, beautiful bastard. Oh, there he goes.
Hi.
No, you haven't.
That's all right. He'll catch back up. Well, at the end of the day, the NFL had its draft. I really think that it's very too early to start deciding where everybody's going to be landing. Baseball is just baseball right now, you know? Baseball is way too early to call anything. It's a lot of fun watching some of the storylines. Bryce Harper is basically doing a wave going up and down in terms of his efficiency, which he really is the major storyline of this offseason. Him and Machado. Machado hasn't really been holding up the spotlight as much as everybody else has. I'll tell you one thing that keeps going, though, is the Yankees' fucking health just keeps tumbling and tumbling and tumbling. They just put Andujar back on the DL again for another 10 days.
Yeah.
Which is hysterical. The Yankees just can't stay healthy. If they could, they'd be going to the World Series this year unquestionably.
You know, it's taking a book out of the team that plays not too far down the road. It's an unfortunate. The injury bug, once it gets you, it's hard to fight out. And then
And that's one of the things that I hate. You can tell the difference between a jury bug and a strength and conditioning coach that doesn't know how to do his job. And I'll tell you which one is which.
what are you insinuating? That the Mets don't have good strengthening and conditioning coaches?
Have you tried fixing it?
No.
All right. Well, then I rest my case.
Since we don't have any.
Just go out there and fucking swing at the ball. I'm sure it'll be fine. Truth be told, I haven't heard anything about Machado this season. I don't remember hearing anything explosive about him. I don't hear anything derisive about him. I honestly don't even know how he's doing. Let's take a look at that real quick. Manny Machado's stat lines.
He's been relatively quiet, but it's just that team's is going nowhere fast. That's
well, they started off really hot, didn't they? They started out like 9-0 and then just fucking tanked.
They started. I don't know if it was 9-0, but they had somewhat of a winning streak going there. It just there's no pitching. It just honestly, there's not really like a desire to play there. It's part of the problem. They're not getting any. Even the homegrown talent really isn't like panning out.
And that's unfortunate, but he's hitting a 2.52 for a batting average, which isn't horrible. It's not what you paid $300 million for,
Right?
But,
we're 2 months in, so I think,
like I said, it's a little too early to call that.
All right, we're trying again.
Here's something.
Here's voice.
I
That devilish laugh.
What's he using? Phone or something?
No,
He's got his laptop there.
he's in a courtyard
I'm on
though.
my iPad.
He's in a
Oh,
courtyard.
he's on his iPad.
Yes.
Can you turn the video off? That'll allow for less bandwidth for the streaming.
Video's already off, Mask.
You know what? I don't need your sass today. This show is hard enough to keep rolling with just two of us. I don't need sass coming into the mix.
Where is it, buddy?
Riddler's sick. Jeff and Kyle couldn't make it, so just us. Just us hanging out.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
as riveting radio as this has been.
there we
there's
go.
Fox.
He's coming.
Here, turn the video off. See the little video in the middle, right there. Just hit it.
You want it off?
Yeah.
Well, if we could have him on without,
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Turn your camera on, Mike.
No, don't turn the camera on. That's creating bad bandwidth.
I had it off because it was getting real choppy with the camera on.
Yeah, it's
All right,
making it
just leave
worse.
off. There you go.
All right,
Yeah.
we're good.
You know what you do? Take a picture of him and put it on the screen.
There you go.
We'll just grab a whiteboard and just write mock on it. Did you want to chime in anything else to the Doug Baldwin segment, or we were just talking about Machado and Harper?
No, we're good.
We haven't heard really anything out of Machado. He hasn't been stellar. He hasn't been horrible. Harper's very much a wave for him and going up and down in his streakiness.
Machado's playing average baseball for an average club.
Right.
You think that they're average?
I think that they're an average team. That's their peak. I mean, they have a good lineup. The Padres have a good starting nine. Pitching is kind of whatever, but their lineup isn't horrible.
No, but you're right. The pitching is whatever.
Yeah.
It might be below whatever.
But, Harper to me has been the bigger, I guess, disappointment in the fact that he's not jumping off the page and really lighting up the score box,
And that's to be understood for the man who was just handed the most expensive and lucrative contract in MLB history before Mike Trout showed up. But besides that point.
But even before the money, I mean, this is a guy who, like Trout, was billed to be one of the greatest of our generation.
And he's turned consistently average. I mean, he's had some very good high points, but
I think he's becoming a different kind of player. He doesn't hit for average. His batting average won't always be super high, but his on-base percentage is always through the roof.
yes.
So we gotta kind of look at him differently, where he's not going to be a 300 guy all the time. He'll go through streaks where he hits the cover off the ball, but for the most part, he's going to be a 250, 260 hitter. But the home runs will be there, and the on-base percentage will be there.
Does he have the clutch factor that you look for in a lot of star players?
I think so. I mean, I don't think he's like a David Ortiz, but I think he
enough
can
to
perform
make through the end of the day.
Oh, quick timeout.
Well, I think there was anticipation that not that the Phillies lineup hasn't been meshing, but meshing a lot better, and then Harper was going to be that centerpiece. The guy really, driving in runs, and right now he's not doing that.
This is the guy that will lead us to the promised land. He will build all our talent around us. He will be the linchpin that holds it all together, and we will go to the playoffs.
Right, and I think it is early, but it is fair to have doubts because you put a lot of stock into a player, and you want him to be kind of encouraged and self-confident, and not saying the things like well, I don't know. Your teammates on here, I don't know he's not that type of guy to say that type of thing.
No.
So that is a detriment in his makeup, I guess.
Do you think the Phillies jumped the shark on him?
No, I think they're in it for the long haul, and I think it will pan out, and it will pan out.
Okay. Because I guess having him for 13 years, if this isn't the right set around him, you got 5 years to put it together.
Yeah, I think that there's a bigger risk for the pitching to dry up, I think, before that lineup does.
Okay.
In my opinion,
I agree.
And they have some young guys. I think they're really big on Aaron Nola. I think they're thinking that this guy will become. He's a race right now. I think they're picturing him to kind of be like Cole Hamels was for them. I think that's definitely what their plan is.
God, Cole Hamels, there's a name I haven't heard in fucking years.
But I don't know what the plan is for. Do we just try to bring up people, or do we've proven that we're going to spend a lot of money on this team? Do we spend more money? I
spend money to make money.
Yeah, that's kind of been like the Yankees MO for a long time, and it worked.
Yeah, it did.
We were talking about their strength and conditioning coach and how Andujar is back on the 10-day DL. Do you want to chime in on that?
He shouldn't have been back.
No, I agree with you.
He shouldn't have been back. He was expected to miss the entire season and was back in a month and a half. Like, he shouldn't have been playing. They did not need him to come back that fast. Yes, the Yankees needed their guys to come back healthy, but we could have waited another couple of weeks for him and been just fine. Yeah, I'm wondering if they hired the Mets training staff.
That's what Kendall was saying.
Because I've never seen the Yankees. I mean, really, in my whole life following this team. I don't think I've ever seen them get this injured.
And it's getting to comedic levels of injury. We're going on San Diego Chargers levels of injury right now, and that's bad.
It's unbelievable, really. I mean, you have Paxton, who's been a stud so far this season. He goes down. Stanton's still out. Judge is still out. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. But on that same note, I mean, it's going to turn into kind of a blessing in disguise where you have almost your entire AAA team playing in the pros, and it's pretty much a showcase.
Right. I mean, like we're speculating because the season is so early, and it's tough because that division is so tight. If Boston, gets momentum, or we discussed, I think it was last week, Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay gets their act together, it's easy to fall behind quick, and those teams aren't going to let up.
And I mean, we could see a thing where if these young guys keep playing so well, I know Bumgarner had the Yankees on his no trade list, but that can easily be persuaded. I mean, we could see the Yankees make a splash for one of these top end pitching arms to make that playoff push and try and get another ring.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Shall we head into our first break?
Yeah, sorry, Mark. We got you on already, but I think we're going to jump to a quick break. You sticking around for a while?
Yeah, I'll be here. I'm just sitting in the room.
All right.
What to do? We'll try to do like a 5-minute break here.
Yeah, we'll do a quick 5 minutes. We'll be back to see you guys in a bit.
Shoot me a text when you're coming back.
All right.
Yeah, hold on, just one second. So not only is your setup so it's slow on our end too, so we're trying to battle through, but we'll be back in like 5 minutes or so. So
all right,
everyone sit tight.
Don't tell me what to do.
And we're joined by nobody because they suck.
Empty house tonight, but that's okay. Mike Mock is jumping in and out with us. He'll be calling back momentarily. He's in Massachusetts for work, but still joining us tonight. So that's fun. He when he went to the Czech Republic, he did the same thing.
See, I've never actually been in here when he Skyped in before.
Oh no,
no.
He was gone for 2 weeks, I believe, and he would not for the whole trip because it's X amount of hours ahead of us. But he'd be like up at 3 a.m. when we're on.
I remember when I went to go visit my dad in China. It was a 12-hour difference, and I was trying to pull both ends of the stick. And so Ashley would be up during the day. I'd be up at midnight trying to talk to her.
You know, it's funny. I don't know if that's the saying. I think is it both ends?
Yeah, and I was talking about we're not going to talk about that. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, Mock bailing you out from that.
Thank you.
That botched saying. Mock, we got you.
We back.
We're back.
We back. All
right.
Right.
Mass has been pulling both ends of the stick, as he would put it. I'm sure you've heard that saying before.
Multiple times.
That sounds exciting.
It's a reference for Dick.
Well, you just came right out and said it, didn't you?
I might as well.
Episode 99, Mass's coming out party.
All right, so we got a real special hour 2 for you.
After much deliberation, we decided that we know that football is our strongest subject, so let's stick to our strengths.
Because we all know that the sport that's not going on right now has the most to talk about. So there's been a lot of off-season shenanigans. We didn't sign Odell just to trade him. Mock, you know exactly how true that is.
You know, really, guy? Really?
Listen, it's just the aspect of it. You know, Todd Gurley has arthritis in his knee. You get the Tyreek Hill situation. You got the Kareem Hunt situation, even though that still hasn't played out all the way yet. A lot of drama in the NFL this offseason. I think it's probably the most we've had in a long, long time.
The NFL is the land of drama. Like, it's the most dramatic sport in professional sports.
It really is. It also doesn't help that it has the biggest spotlight. It really doesn't.
You know, we saw it this year. The draft, it was an event. You know, I was reading some stuff and I was watching some stuff. I can't remember what show it was, but picks were actually in, and they had to hold what they were saying
because the NFL told them to.
Right for commercial and I can't think of any other sport before this that would ever do that.
No. I was watching the draft like crazy. Souls probably was too, and everybody was like, "Why do you want to watch the draft?" It's like when I was watching the Pro Bowl, and you guys are giving me shit for it.
Well, the Pro Bowl used to be cool. It used to be cool a long time
ago. The Pro Bowl was never cool.
It was cool.
Not since I've been watching it.
In 2005, it was cool.
The game itself has never been cool.
I don't know. It was fun.
The events beforehand were.
The skills competition is cool.
The skills competition has always been fun, but I understand.
So
I get it.
You sound so defeated.
Yeah, because I want it to be cool. I want it to be fun.
I love the Pro Bowl. I watch the Pro Bowl every year. Not ironically.
Because it should be so much more than it is. It should no one wants to see players get hurt.
No.
But no one wants to see two-hand touch.
Exactly.
There's no happy medium here.
Here's the thing. I think fans would sign up for two-hand touch if they just made it two-hand touch.
Put regular people on the field with them just to get a comparison to how big these guys are.
Oh, I'll cover somebody. Not well, but I'll do it.
All right, so here's the rule. Players are only allowed to two-hand touch you. You are allowed to full out try and tackle these men. And when you bounce off them, there will be laughs had.
I was going to say, I'm not tackling any. Actually, I think I could tackle, I don't know, like Cole Beasley.
You say that until you get his beard hair in your face.
Actually, you know what? I could take Doug Baldwin right now.
That's too soon.
We got Doug on the phone right now. He's not happy.
One more piece of drama. It doesn't exactly affect the player, but everybody's favorite owner, Robert Kraft, getting fingered. No, he fingered a chick. Sorry.
Oh, my God.
Everybody's favorite owner, Robert Kraft. Carl Davino, Jody and Carl, and Pete beats. I was listening. So, Carl, feel free to jump in any conversation we're having.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, did they release the video of Robert Kraft yet?
Not yet. There's a lot of lawsuits.
We're gonna watch it though, right?
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. It's going to be shown live on the PPRN radio network.
I wouldn't do that.
No, just the audio will be on PPR.
Oh, there you go.
Just the audio. There you go. You like the Patriots?
No.
This-
Perfect.
This sounded like a phone, like rubbing against like the spit sheet.
This is terrible. I hate this show. But stuff like this is what makes the NFL interesting during the offseason. There's always something to talk about with them. You can't say that for a lot of other sports. A lot of other sports, you get this person signing here or this person signing. You got the real slam dunk when KD did that thing on what's the website he wrote on that? Players Tribune. When he did when
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Mike? What are you laughing at?
I thought didn't someone do a thing on like Deadspin or something? That was baseball though. They like sold their Hall of Fame pick or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on Deadspin. But Durant's next chapter, that sparked a lot. That was one of the most crazy offseason things that's ever happened.
But that's the thing. Like the NBA has personalities. The NFL doesn't really have that. They do, but
not
the
to the
NBA
level the NBA does.
The NBA, like Steph Curry is a big personality. The Durant that you have LeBron, like the NBA is like more Hollywood than any other sport.
Right.
That's why I said it's going to be WWE in 20 years.
I mean, I can agree with that, but I guess I feel as though football carries not the same weight, but I mean, there was a whole thing. Remember with Antonio Brown, doing the Facebook Live during the post game thing with Tomlin and all that.
Yes, I still remember that.
So I think that stuff is definitely escalated. I mean, I guess I suppose that the NBA is more in your face about it. I guess
a thing I think, and I've thought this the last couple of years about the NBA. If you watch how the star players act, and to me, it's almost like the game is secondary.
Like nobody ever thinks about the game. Everybody's paying attention to the off court antics.
What I mean is that it's like, okay, you have say, for example, Tristan Thompson. Okay, now I know he's not a big superstar name, but he was dating the Kardashian. So it became that people were watching an NBA game to watch him to see if he interacted or said anything about a Kardashian. It's just, to me, the game became secondary to whatever Hollywood nonsense was going on off the court.
I slightly agree with that from the standpoint of what you're saying is that there's people tuning into NBA games just for him because he was on the show that they watched outside. Yeah. But I guess I would differ in saying that. I mean, during the like post game stuff, I think that I don't know if he was being like asked those questions by sports reporters. I don't. I mean, maybe if like the TMZ Sports, were able to get into to press conferences, they would ask those type of questions. But I don't know.
How did I not know this? Jared Cook is on the Saints.
Yeah. As of like earlier this week, I think.
Oh.
Or something happened.
I thought he signed there a while ago.
No, I think you're right. I'm thinking of somebody else. I think somebody signed with.
Gross.
Maybe it was the Patriots. Somebody signed with the Patriots after a long time.
Ben Watson.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Ben Watson. I'm retiring. Hey, Ben, you want a ring? I'm retiring.
I'm not a fan of. I've never been a fan of Ben Watson. Any team.
He's played for more than one team.
He's been all over.
Has he really?
All over the place.
He was a Saint. He was a Raven.
I didn't know that.
Where else was he, Kenneth? Was he a Raider?
I think he was a Raider too.
Gross.
Just a lumbering guy. All he is.
So the article that I read that on was an ESPN article. It says, coming off a career in Oakland, Jared Cook finds himself in 2019 down south in New Orleans trying to fill a void left in the Saints lineup by Jimmy Graham over 4 years ago. The top comment on that article says, I don't think the Saints miss Jimmy Graham really as much as Jimmy Graham misses the Saints.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's interesting you bring that name up, and I would love to argue with Kyle about this. Can we call Jimmy Graham overrated yet?
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't think he ever will live up to the billing he got after the first 5 years with the Saints.
Because I'm sorry, he went to Seattle. Now I know Seattle's not a big tight end using team, But Russell Wilson is still dynamic throwing the football, and he did nothing there.
Right. I will
And
say.
now-
Go ahead.
Then he goes to Green Bay playing with Aaron Rodgers, who's one of the greatest quarterbacks, considered of all time.
And loves his tight ends.
Yeah, and does nothing there. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think Jimmy Graham is that good.
So,
I think he was good in a Drew Brees offense.
I think that's a fair point. I will say that I think it was a slow start in Seattle, and I know he battled some injuries, but I think his last season or second season, what was it, 3 years he spent there?
Yeah.
It was either the second season or his last season there. He definitely seemed to have showed up more and was more part of that offense. Now, the move to Green Bay, kind of we're seeing like a flashback, a very slow start, kind of injury plagued. I think I will give him this year. If this year he delivers in some form, it doesn't have to be a league leader or anything like that, but if he gets a couple touchdowns under his belt, I would tend to say not overrated. But if he has the same season, then I will agree.
Here's a fun stat for Jimmy Graham for all of you. He hasn't topped 900 receiving yards since 2013.
Well,
That's not true.
Oh, you're absolutely right. He did in 2016. I'm sorry. He didn't have 1,000 receiving yards since 2013.
Like that distinction of 100 yards,
Well, I went with the nearest roundable 100 number.
Right, I got you.
But
yeah, I don't know. Well, I give him a year, and then I will officially. And not that I have this like undying love for Jimmy Graham. I don't know. I feel maybe he had some bad luck with the injuries, and maybe
or some very good luck with having a future Hall of Famer in Drew Brees.
Yeah, I think if he can't deliver with Aaron Rodgers, and then it's official.
Jimmy Graham will sign with the Patriots in 2024 and go on to win 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, I hope not.
You want to know if he ended up on the Patriots? It'd be ridiculous.
Would have made me so mad.
Can you imagine Jimmy Graham and Gronk? Jimmy Graham is the tight end 2.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, not to bring up this name, but that's kind of how it was with Hernandez.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty good.
Yeah.
It'd be the same type of deal, except probably better.
No, it'd definitely be better. For one, you wouldn't have somebody committing murder, but
without the obvious reason.
Well, we don't know that.
That's true.
Yeah, he just wants to be a gangster. We all just want to be gangsters.
That James Graham looks like a shady fella.
It's Jim Graham. A little less formal there, Mark. I know we're kind of topic jumping, but I just kind of jumped in my head. I was watching Barstool, and they were talking about the Embiid thing at the end of the game, and he was crying. There's a lot of emotion, and
Yeah.
I was surprised by the number of people who had a problem with him.
Why would you?
Yeah, that's
You
what I'm
want
wondering.
somebody to have that passion for the game.
Right? They're not robots.
This should be upsetting. You didn't win.
It's one of those things to me where if they react in any way, if a player cries, he gets ridiculed. If a player shows like an anger emotion after a tough loss, they get ridiculed. Like, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah,
What are you supposed to do?
It wasn't the Barstool people that were criticizing. They were kind of.
No, I know.
They were
I was
sympathizing.
reading similar things. I mean, you have these guys, especially a team like the Sixers that were pretty relatively dominant all season, and it came down to Kawhi taking a deep 3-ball, it bouncing off the rim twice, and it happened
4
to bounce
times.
the right way. It's just the way it fell. So I mean, yeah, of course he's going to be. I mean, the whole season didn't go how they wanted in the end.
And let me give you a bigger example than this. He was the one blocking Kawhi on that shot.
Yeah. I wonder if, because, Embiid's like a known trash talker.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are like, it's deserved. That's what you get. I don't necessarily feel that way. I'm not super big into the trash talk. I think it's good for the sport.
Yeah, you
But
got somebody that actually cares about the fucking game.
Yeah. I mean, like if I was ever a professional player, I don't think I'm not a big gloater. I'm just not. But I'm not like, ha ha, that serves you right.
But we saw a similar thing. I think it was 2 years ago. I think it was the Giants playing the Packers, and the Packers, I believe, walked off the Giants. Like it was the year before Saquon, when the Giants went 3-13. The Giants blew a fourth quarter lead to the Packers, and they ended up and that was when Odell punched the hole in the wall.
Yep, I remember that.
And everyone got all pissed about it.
Or when he fought the net. Why do you care? This guy's pissed off that his team is losing.
But that's what I mean. Like, if you show any emotion or any type of passion for the sport, you get ridiculed. But then if you sit there like a statue, that's just because remember Cam Newton when he came in, they used to ridicule him because he was always stone-faced and this. Athletes can't win.
No, because he did the exact opposite after the loss to Denver, and people gave him shit about it.
I hate that we put these guys under the microscope so much, and we forget that they're people. They're still people. They're much more talented than us, but they're people.
In some regards, let's see them host a podcast radio show where they have to drink beer on it.
And have to actually kind of know what they're talking about.
Kind of. That's the operative word, kind of.
Yeah. It depends on the subject. I'm okay with judging these people to a certain degree. If you're going out and blow or smoke coke every night, I'm going to judge you a little bit for that. You're a role model to kids.
See, that's another aspect. Now, again, I like the athletes that are those role models, but we cannot ridicule an athlete for not being a role model. That's not what they're there to do.
Yeah, I agree. So this is interesting. You guys brought it up. So Mass, you're kind of in the camp that you expect kind of all these players to kind of have like a very clean way of living and all that.
So here, let me bring up an example I had with my my stepdad and my mother. This goes back to the Johnny Manziel days.
All right.
It's like 3 years ago.
Was it only 3 years ago? It feels like so much longer than that.
It's fresh in my mind. I think about Manziel every day.
It was 5.
Oh, Johnny. No, so you got a party boy like Gronk who's dating a Playboy model who's out there crushing beers and doing stupid shit every night, jokes about 69, all that. I fucking love Gronk. He's hysterical. Shut up. We love Gronk. Then you get somebody like Manziel. He's out there, he's drinking, he's at a casino, whatever. I get that he's been pulled over once or twice. I get that. That's fine. But you can't love one kid for doing the same thing that another guy is doing and ridicule the shit out of him.
Yeah, it is an interesting thing there. It's like, because Gronk is winning and
people like him because he's funny. I get Manziel came off as arrogant and a douchebag. That's fine. Because he was. He was arrogant and everybody hated him. Most people hated him. The state of Texas did not hate him. But everybody loves Gronk because he doesn't give a shit. He's like the Walmart brand version of Juju. He's out there living his best life and just having fun. He really is. He's endorsing monster trucks and fucking Dunkin' Donuts and shit like that. He's just out there having fun.
I think the big difference with Manziel is that he did not present himself in a likable way.
No, like I said, he was an arrogant asshole.
But Gronkowski, yes, got wild and partied and this and that and was like the typical douche. But
just snotted everywhere.
But he was honest, personality wise, he's a guy that you cannot hate. I highly dislike him because he was a Patriot. But
that's the only reason you dislike him.
I mean, really, he is an entertaining guy. Manziel came off of I'm the next greatest thing ever. And he just wasn't. I mean, we tried to do the same thing, or at least some places did with Baker Mayfield. They didn't he was arrogant, he was out and this and that. But he went out and won games for a team that hasn't won games.
Yeah.
He opened up the Budweiser coolers, man.
Yeah, I mean, it sports fans and the sports world will overlook anything
as long
if
as you win.
Perform on the field.
Yeah,
but that's it. You don't even have to win.
As long as you put up numbers.
But if you perform on the field, they will overlook everything.
I don't know about that because you get the same aspect you were just talking about. Odell performed on the field like fucking crazy, and everybody still wants to ridicule the shit out of him.
But what I mean is I guess I kind of changed the subject in the sense of when players mess up and they get ridiculed. If you come back and perform, then everything's forgiven. Odell, I don't know what went wrong there. I mean, I was reading a report the other day saying that from the jump, the Giants thought he was a problem.
Right, but the locker room loved him.
So, but what I don't understand is
why draft him then?
You drafted this guy, and right from the gate, you thought he was an issue. So not only did you keep him around for the 4 years, give him the 5th-year option, sign him to this big. It doesn't make any sense.
It is weird. I don't know if they thought that they could fix him. It's like, hey, we'll put him in this winning,
but that's the thing.
Scenario.
At the end of the day,
boy, how wrong they were.
At the end of the day, he wasn't that bad.
His worst thing was he speared Josh Norman. That's the worst thing he did.
But at the end of the day, if you go look back at that game, it wasn't nowhere.
No, that was boiling the entire game, and the refs spelled that game.
That was after multiple late hits by Norman throwing Odell. And finally, yes, he headhunted him. And I'm not saying he was right for it. But
no, but the refs let that game get away from them. That should have been stopped a long.
Chippy.
Yeah.
But that was also an entire season. Odell fought the Rams that year.
Yes, I remember
the Rams
that.
were hitting him. Like that was his
he fought
second
Alec,
season.
He fought Alec Ogletree, which is very funny to me.
Yeah, and I mean, that year everyone was gunning for Odell, which I get it. I mean, he was a young guy who was setting the league on fire. No one was able to stop him, so they were trying to hit him low, and he was still beating guys.
Yeah,
it's just, I really think, and someone write it down, that we'll say 10, maybe even 15 years from now, we're going to look back, and that's going to be the worst trade the Giants ever made.
Hey Siri, remind me in 10 years.
Yeah.
Because
we'll still be doing this show.
I think that even with what they got for Odell in the 17th pick, like Dexter Lawrence might turn out to be a good player. I don't think he's ever going to turn out to be a repeating all-pro player that Odell was. And that's what you gave up to get Dexter Lawrence. I think Odell is going to light the AFC North on fire. It's just the Giants are going to look back, and that's going to be one of the worst trades they've made as a franchise.
Do you think you guys have anybody who can stop Odell on the field?
I mean, that's a loaded question because I don't know. I want to kind of reverse this a little bit. I think if the Browns win, I think Beckham will never be a problem. If the Browns struggle this year, the Browns struggle next year. By year 3, I think we kind of see a repeat Odell. I think, Terrell Owens was kind of the same way. It's great to win. You have a lot of fun when you win.
That's
but when
my quarterback.
But when you struggle.
But even then, I mean, Odell wasn't in the media calling his team out.
He did once.
But all he ever said was, "Do you think there needs to be a change at quarterback?" All he said was, "I don't know."
No, didn't he blast McAdoo once?
I don't think he ever blasted anybody in the media.
I could have sworn
I could be wrong.
I could have sworn he shit on McAdoo. Hold on.
But you know what? McAdoo deserved every bit of it.
Yes, absolutely.
McAdoo did not pan out, in any regards.
But even last season, Odell got ripped apart because all he said is, "I want to beat guys over the top." He didn't want to keep taking the 3-yard slants for, he rips one off every once in a while. But he said, I want to beat guys over the top. And he got ripped apart for that, saying he was calling out the play calling. But he wasn't wrong. I mean, even as a Giants fan, I'm sitting there going, yeah, we want to see you beat guys downfield. We want to see the Giants stretch the field and open it up even more for Barkley and get Shepard going. I don't think Odell did anything wrong last season at all. The Lil Wayne interview was real weird.
Yeah. The only thing if I would really criticize Odell on, and I'm never going to be like, well, this guy faked an injury. But I just feel if the Giants were in a different position, late in the year,
Yeah,
I think Odell would have played those games out.
I agree with you. I agree 100%.
I don't blame him in the slightest for it, though.
But
I
again,
think you gotta. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just being a football player or any sport. Be there for your
timing
team.
of all that was real weird too, because it came out. Him and Barkley are both. Listen, we're out of it, but we're still playing. And then he didn't play.
Yeah, we still play it, man.
But I really think we're gonna look back, and this is gonna be one of the worst trades, if not in Giants franchise, but like all time.
Do you think this will be the Herschel Walker trade for the Giants?
It can be. It can be. Odell to me, and I may be biased, but I really think he's like a generational wide receiver. He's the Antonio Brown, the Julio. Like, he's one of the guys. And
yeah,
we're gonna look back, and the Giants gave him up after signing him. They gave him up.
We didn't trade it, or we didn't sign him to trade him.
But they gave him up to draft a guy that plays a position that we didn't really need.
No.
I think, again, I'm not saying Dex Lawrence is bad. I think he was a good pick, but it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt.
It's a bizarre the way it all went down. And I mean, for your sake and for all Giants fans, I hope that it's not the worst trade, that you guys ever. Or maybe I hope that it is the worst trade so something like that never happens again.
But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, the Browns killed it in that trade.
Yeah,
they gave up a mid-first round pick for an all-pro caliber wide receiver who's still young and is now playing with his best friend.
Yeah,
who's going to be in a let's move the ball type of offense. I think we're going to see Odell explode this year.
Okay, so
absolutely explode.
So that kind of leads into my next question. One of the things I wanted to talk about is teams you think are going to come out of nowhere, be dark horses. Teams you think aren't going to live up to the hype. Do you guys both think that the Browns will live up to expectations? Let me put it to you this way. Their expectations are to make the playoffs, whether that is wild card or whether that is, I don't know, win the division. You guys can take your pick on that. But you had Odell come out and say they're going to be a playoff team. You've had Landry saying that for 2 years. Baker said it at least once. You have their new cornerback, Grady Williams, say they're going to the Super Bowl. You guys think the Browns live up to the hype this season?
Kendall, you want to bat lead off here?
Yeah, I'll bat lead off here. Now, I'm a resident Steelers fan. Souls also.
No.
You're the only rational Steelers fan.
Right, that is true. So I don't believe this year the Browns live up to the hype. I think there will be growing pains. And I think, and I hate to sound like a homer, but I think Pittsburgh is not dead yet. Baltimore, I'm not positive, but they play tough and they seem to win games when things are dark. I think Pittsburgh holds on to the division this year, and I just think the AFC is in a position where 3 teams could be representing the playoffs in the AFC South, and I think the same thing could possibly be said for the AFC West. I think the teams that are going to be representing one team is being represented in 2 divisions are the North and East. So I think whoever wins the division for the AFC North is the only team going to the playoffs, and I think the Patriots obviously are going to go in the East. I don't see multiple teams from the North or East going. With that being said, I don't hate the Browns. I'm not the team that struggled so long.
How could you hate them?
Well, no, I think that team will at some point click. There's a lot of good stuff going for them. I think they got the players they want. I think the coaching is competent. I don't think there's going to be instant results. So I don't think they live up to the hype this year. Is how I'm going to leave that.
All right, second bet.
I think that the Browns win the division this year.
All right,
and I don't think they blow the division away. I still think the Steelers are a 10-6 football team, but I think the Browns win more than 10 games. I think they would go
Wow.
like 11-5. They're playing a third place schedule. They're going to have. I think their offense is going to be high powered. Their defense is still good. If you exclude last season and go to the 1-32 back-to-back years, they never got blown out of games. They were always right in games. It was just late Deshaun Kaiser.
I was just about to say, do you guys remember Deshaun Kaiser was their quarterback 2 years ago?
But that's what I mean. Like, it came down to these late blown things. It wasn't, no one went out and beat the Browns 42-10.
I'm sure there was a couple teams that did that.
But that defense will keep rolling. I mean, I think that we're going to just see that offense go nuts. You're going to get Kareem Hunt back for the second half of the year, fresh legs. Nick Chubb, to me, is a stud running back. That team, to me, is going to score points. They play in a division where you have the Bengals, who are bad. You have the Ravens, who have the potential to be very bad. So, I mean, that right there is for – they always play the Steelers tough.
What's up, Eric? Sorry.
They get the Titans. They play the Jets. They play the Bills, the Dolphins. They have a lot of easier games, I guess. I mean, the Bills are going to be decent, but they're not out playing a first place schedule this year. So I think they're going to be able to capitalize on that and take that division.
All right. Here's a controversial one for you guys. Kansas City. Talk to me about them. Do you think Kansas City can live up to their hype that they had last year? Mr. Kermit the Frog throwing touchdowns like crazy left and right?
Well, are we going to assume that Hill is playing or Hill is not playing?
It's tough. I guess the playing.
Here,
he's not going to play.
I'll go halfway for you guys. Assume Hill plays the first half of the season.
Mock, you want to go first this time, or?
Sure. I think if Hill plays the first half of the season, the Chiefs go 7-1, and they finish 8-8.
You really think that bad, huh?
Yeah, their defense is bad. Their defense is bad.
Their defense is historically bad.
And they lost Kareem Hunt. If you now take away Tyreek Hill, I mean, yes, you still have Travis Kelce, who, in my opinion, is the best tight end in the league, but he's not enough. I mean, you can't put the team on the back of a tight end and expect him to produce like a wide receiver would.
I'm sorry, the Patriots did that with Gronkowski.
But they had a receiving core and always a good enough run game to supplement it.
All right, fair enough.
The outside of Tyreek Hill, who's the receiver?
Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins. Okay.
Chanderick West.
Who?
Don't say who. He won me a game last year.
It's just that team, and Sammy Watkins is not going to carry an offense anymore.
No,
I mean, he was
we tried
good
that
with
already.
the Rams.
No,
but it's just he had a good year with the Rams. It's just that offense is not going to be as explosive. I'm not saying that Mahomes is going to play bad football by any means, but he's not going to come anywhere near 50 touchdowns next year.
Last year was their year?
I think so.
Okay.
It could have been this year. I mean, if players on the team didn't beat women, but it is what it is.
I agree. Last year was definitely Kansas City's year to go to the Super
Bowl. I really think
anyway.
most football players should just go gay that way if they just beat each other up. It's just two dudes working some shit out.
It's still a domestic.
I'd run for office on that platform alone, Mass.
You'd be like, no, I'm gay, so it doesn't count.
All right, carry on.
It's less likely to be a domestic than if it's a man and a woman.
I think Kansas City's window to go, not necessarily win, but the best chance to win was last year, 100%. This year, no way Mahomes, puts up those same numbers again. No, I'll drink a whole thing of private stock if he throws 50 touchdowns again.
Write that down.
Yeah, it just
Siri remind me.
Lost the Chargers are they're right there. I think they have just as good of a season as last year. I'm not going to say better season nor worse. I think they'll have the same season again. And I think there'll be enough to kind of be toe-to-toe, with Kansas City. Last year they split, right? They each won a game, each away. I think it was. So I think we're going to kind of see, maybe this time around this will be the Chargers will have the edge, because the defense is bad, the offense will be not as explosive. Mahomes will still be good, but it won't be 50 touchdowns good, I feel, and I just think that a team like say what you want about Denver. I think Denver could put a couple of wins together. Not 13 wins, but maybe they put together 9 wins, and it's somehow enough. And I think it's possible that Denver can win versus Kansas City and versus the Chargers. So with them in the mix, Kansas City won't be the team of last year. By that ship has sailed already. So
was it an anomaly more than anything?
No, I don't think it was an anomaly. I think it was it's kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers syndrome. All the pieces were correct, and then just outside stuff happens, and it screws up everything.
All right, we're gonna touch on 2 more real quick. Can either of you give me a team that you think is a dark horse for this year coming up?
I have one in mind, but I don't know how much of a dark horse they can be.
Let's hear it.
The Oakland Raiders.
All right, so that's going to lead into my next segment. So let's hear about this.
The Raiders to me are a team that everyone's already written off. But this is also a team that just 2 years ago had an MVP candidate quarterback and made the playoffs and could have made a run, but Carr got hurt. They add Antonio Brown to the mix. They draft a good running back. They draft defensive pieces. I'm not saying this is a team that's going to go, win the division and breeze through the playoffs by any means, but I think the Raiders are a team that can make noise this season. Even if they win 7 games, I think they'll surprise a lot of people and they'll start to get on the upswing.
All right. Red Baron?
I kind of touched on it already, but I'm going to stay in the same division. I think Denver could have a lot of upside this year. Joe Flacco, not elite. I don't care what anyone says, not elite. But he's a serviceable quarterback, and he's got a pretty big arm. Oh, he was not.
He's been elite in the playoffs.
I don't know. I think it was just an amazing,
couple of years,
couple of circumstances in that playoff run. Anyway,
I can give you the same argument I've given Kyle. Flacco can be an elite quarterback with the weapons. He is not a quarterback that makes his receivers look good. He needs the receivers to bail him out.
Yes.
He can be an elite quarterback.
So I think, Flacco, and I think this exists in football just as much as it does in baseball. A change of scenery can be good. I think, Denver with that thin air, Flacco's got a pretty big arm. I think he could throw for a bunch of yards up there. And, I was very pleased with what I saw out of Philip Lindsay and even Royce Freeman. Freeman had a couple injuries.
Forgot about Royce Freeman.
Yeah, I mean, they two rookies that kind of were surprised by how effective they were. And I think with a year under their belt, perhaps they can get someone going there. Sometimes just mixing up the bag is enough to, find that cohesiveness in an offense. So I think it's a team that not going to win, like I said, 13 games, but maybe you win 9 and sneak into the wild card.
Okay.
So
is Emmanuel Sanders still playing?
Yes.
Yeah. He had an injury that ended his.
But he's already back practicing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure of the severity.
But that's what I mean. I mean, you're putting Flacco on a team that has Sanders, an emerging Cortland Sutton.
Yep.
Philip Lindsay. Right.
I don't know who the tight end is over there. I can't.
Jake Butt.
What is it?
Jake Butt.
Jake Butt?
What happened to Virgil Green?
He's been gone a while.
Yeah.
I think.
I forgot he went to Denver.
It's just Flacco's on a team now where we may see him revive a bit with a good defense still and offensive weapons around him.
You think it'll be like Alex Smith and KC?
It could be better.
All right.
Mike Hatfield tuning in. Thank you, Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm well.
All right, so we're gonna take this kind of rapid fire. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to spin on these. We're gonna go through the whole league. I'm gonna give you
The whole league.
real
Oh my
quick.
God.
I'm gonna give you their predictions for their
Okay.
win-loss record.
All right.
You tell me whether they're overrated, underrated, or rated just right.
Okay.
We'll start with each division. We'll switch off who goes first. Red Baron, you're going first.
Okay.
Buffalo Bills projection 6-10.
Underrated. I think they go 8-8 this year. Which I mean is only improvements by saying that they go 500. Just it's a Patriots division to lose. I think it's a good football team. It's just it's the odds are stacked against them 8-8.
Mock.
I think they're right on par with 6-10. I mean, Josh Allen's good. The defense is good, but there's not a lot of offensive talent there.
Okay.
So I put him around 6-10.
Miami Dolphins 3-10. Red Baron.
Overrated.
All right, you know what? We're going to start with Mock for that one.
They're going to be terrible. They're going to tank this season.
Tank for Tua tank?
I don't think it's for Tua, but I don't think they're going to play for anything this year. They know it. I mean, you could tell by the moves that they're making. They traded for Josh Rosen, but that's a future move, not this season. They're going to be bad.
Okay. Red Baron?
3-10. Joe's right. That's Dolphins 2019 football.
You're missing 3 games, but the Dolphins may miss 3 games too, so that's all right.
Start your fantasy guys against Miami next year.
Yeah. Early pro tips from Mock Sheen. New England Patriots 12-4. Red Baron?
Oh God.
Right on par. They're the Patriots and this and that.
Mock Sheen?
Yeah.
No explanation needed.
Okay. New York Jets 5-11. Red Baron?
Overrated and by only one game. I decided because of the Patriots and they're going to play a third place schedule this year.
Yeah.
No,
fourth place.
Fourth place. They were last.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the third pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. Those fourth place teams that they're playing against are better than the Jets. So it's just.
Which is kind of sad to consider. All right, we're going to hop over to the NFC East.
Jets are underrated.
Oh, sorry, we skipped Mock. Mock, tell me about the Jets.
I think the Jets can win more than 5 games. I mean, they beefed up the defense. I'm not totally sold on Darnold, but I think he's going to be that serviceable guy. The offense isn't horrible. I think they can win more than 5 games.
Okay.
Think of what we just said. So the Patriots are going to win 12 games. No one else in that division is going to win more than 6.
Well, my thinking is, and I was saying this before, only one team is going to be represented from the East, and 3 others are going to be represented in whether the South or the West. I feel as those teams in the East are too weak to contend with the likes of Houston.
Yep.
If that's how that division goes, the Patriots aren't a real team.
That's been the argument forever. For 20 years, they've been a team playing by themselves.
All right, hop into the NFC East. Mock, take it away with the Dallas Cowboys at 9-7.
God, underrated.
Okay.
God, this makes me sick.
Get ready for it because you're going first on the entire NFC East.
I mean, you have the Cowboys, who were probably the biggest surprise as a defensive unit last year. Their defense was no joke. They brought in Amari Cooper, who set the league on fire once he got into Dallas. Prescott is Prescott. He's not going to win you games. He's not going to lose you games. He's Alex Smith light. And then Elliott is Elliott. That's a team, as far as I'm concerned, and I hate it, it's the Cowboys division to lose going into the season. I think they could be an 11-12 win team.
Gross. Reed?
I know.
Underrated. I think Dallas wins that division outright. I think they win 12 games. Elliott, for me, is the real deal, and I think that's enough. The defense is stout. It's fairly young, and I think they'll rock and roll.
All right. Mock, take it away with the New York Giants, 4-12.
Oh, God. I'm only saying underrated because I think they can win at least 5-6 games. I mean, we traded Odell, but the defense is okay. It's not good. It's not terrible. I mean, we still have offensive weapons and Tate, Shepard, and Barkley.
Oh my God, you guys have Golden Tate. I forgot about that.
So I think they can win more than 4 games, but not more than 6.
I'll ask both of you when we get to your respective teams. Mox, since we're at you, what would be considered a win for your team this year? What would be considered a success? Anything else? Anything lower than this would be a disappointment of a season.
Barkley not getting hurt. I don't know. I mean, it's tough because I want to say Eli retires, but
I just meant performance for the year, not something that happens.
But that's what I mean. Like, team performance wise, there's nothing they can do that's going to make this year a success because they're not building towards anything yet. I mean, that Daniel Jones plays well. It's just we know that Eli's on the way out. So as long as they hang on to him and just let him kind of sputter around, they're not building towards anything.
Fair enough.
You know, if come week 5 Daniel Jones starts and plays very well, then yeah, that to me is a success. Even if they don't win the games, if he plays well, then I can look forward to it. But right now, there's nothing to look forward to as a Giants fan.
Fair enough. All right, Reed, take us away. Prediction is 4-12 for the New York Giants this year.
Underrated. I kind of agree with Mock. I think they have the potential to win like 6 games.
Okay.
I just feel as though, offensively, we don't know what we're going to get out of Eli. You know, we hope for the best, but we don't know. This is the first time we're going to see – not the first time. I guess we're going to see now Shepard kind of being the one, all the way, and we'll see if he can pick up the pieces. And I think there's hopes that,
Spoiler alert, no.
and we see if, Barkley doesn't have a sophomore slump.
Okay.
So, in the defense, they lost their best piece, and now it's just kind of like, well, where do we go from here? So
This will be a big year for Evan Ingram.
Yes.
This
This is
will be a
contract
big-
year, isn't it?
this is his third season. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about this. Mock, take it away with the Philadelphia Eagles, 11-5.
Overrated.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think the Eagles will be maybe a 9-7 team. I don't think Carson Wentz is going to pan out to be the quarterback we thought he was going to be even 2 years ago. I think he's going to get hurt again, and this time Nick Foles is not there to bail that team out.
Okay. Red Baron?
Overrated. That's an 8-8 team.
Wow.
I like the defense, but I agree a lot with Mock said. I don't think Carson Wentz has been the quarterback. The injuries have absolutely killed him, and if he's any growing momentum that he's needed, he hasn't been able to get. And it seems like it's like a rotating door at running back, and it just the year they won the Super Bowl was just one of the best sports stories, and I don't see that happening again anytime soon. 8-8.
Okay. Mock, take it away. Washington Redskins, 6-10.
Man, I think the Redskins are going to be better than the Giants. I think the Redskins are pretty much right on par there. I mean, Case Keenum is probably the most serviceable quarterback we've ever seen other than Ryan Fitzpatrick. Defensively, they're all right. It's just they're a team that always kind of plays spoiler. Like they never just win 2 games. They always win 5 or 6. So I think they're right on the target there.
Okay. We're going to jump over to the AFC North.
I got my
should ask
Redskin.
Kendall.
My Redskin.
Oh,
prediction.
God damn it. I'm bad at this.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. I actually think overrated.
Overrated.
I think the Redskins are going to be a 2-14 team.
Wow.
I think this is a team that just absolutely craps the bed this year. Nothing
Wow.
goes right. I am a big hater, actually, of Dan Schneider. I can't remember his last name now.
Schnitter.
Snitter. He
Dan Shitter.
does the pretzel thing too. Bad GM, in my opinion.
He's not even a GM now.
owner,
There you go.
but he's got his hand in the pail, always digging around for something. And I just think that team is going to be doomed this year. You dumping your private stock back in. What the hell was that?
I didn't drink it.
Oh, all right.
I don't plan to.
Just
Um,
tainted the whole batch.
That's all right. It's tainted anyways. Have you tasted this thing? Jumping into the AFC North. Takeaway for the Baltimore Ravens, 9-7. Red Baron?
I think that's on par. I think that could be a 9-7 team. And the Ravens, they play very well. I think because they're playing for Harbaugh. You know,
God, you guys are gonna hate this predictions.
He's a good coach. So a lot of times it's like he's a good motivator, and it's evident when they go out on the field. Defense, it's people are ready to write them off. I'm not exactly ready to write them off yet, but I think they're definitely in a worse position than they've been in the past. Offensively, I have not really any idea what to expect. They're not gonna light it up, but they'll stay in games. I think 9 wins is appropriate.
All right, Mock.
I think they are overrated. I see the Ravens as at best 6-win team. Their defense is not going to be there to bail out Lamar Jackson when he fumbles 4 times a game. Their defense got decimated this offseason. Everybody's gone. Offensively, who's he throwing the ball to? I just don't think that team is built to win this year. It could change in the next couple of years, but this year they're lucky to win 6 games.
All right, we're going to move on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Take us away. We have 6-10.
Overrated. 6-10. They expect the Bengals to win. For their sake, I hope so. The Bengals will win 4 games this year on the back of I don't even know who. I just don't. That team is going nowhere fast. They don't have a plan. The Dalton thing, in my opinion, is not working out. You know, he's either injured or throwing interceptions. So it's just 4-10 or 4-12 rather.
All right, Mock.
I also say overrated because I think the Bengals are the team that's going to tank for Tua. I think they're lucky to win 3 games. Dalton, the experiment's over. The only bright spot is Joe.
Can you really
Mixon
call him
when
an
healthy.
experiment for how long he's been there?
But that's all it is. I mean, he's all done. AJ Green to me is still an elite, talented receiver, but he's always hurt. Joe Mixon's very good, but again, he gets banged up. The defense isn't good. This is a team that's going to be bad.
All right. Take it away for the Cleveland Browns, probably one of the most divisive teams in the league this year. 10-6.
So I'm not going to say overrated. The difference is I'm going to say it's 9-7. I think we discussed earlier in the hour. The hype is there. I think there's a lot of promise in that squad, and I think there will be a lot of bright spots, but I think there'll be growing pains with Baker. I just see 9-7, and you know I think there's a lot to look forward to in Cleveland.
Maksheen?
I think that is an underrated projection. I think at best, I'll go the other. I think at worst the Browns would be 8-8. That's at their worst.
Okay.
I think this team also has the potential to win 13 games.
Okay.
Because their division games always are tough. They can, it always comes down to a field goal, whoever happens to be kicking. But realistically, I think they're an 11-5 team, and I think that's enough to win that division this year.
All right, here's going to be the divisive part. Pittsburgh Steelers, 8-8.
I think that is underrated. I think Pittsburgh has the potential and will win that division at 10-6. I think this is a very close division on a average scale. I think what's going to happen is a lot of these teams, all these teams are going to split, one each, and it's except the Bengals. And I just think that Pittsburgh will notch out the better conference record to go 10-6 and win the division.
Okay. I'll ask you the same thing that I asked Mock for the Giants. What would be considered a letdown for this season? The absolute line between success and defeat.
I think the biggest letdown for Pittsburgh would be have a losing record in the division.
Okay.
I think that would be the biggest letdown.
Not even missing the playoffs. Having a losing record in the division would
I
be
think
considered.
it would, because the Steelers have missed the playoffs with better records than not. So, I mean, the Steelers haven't had a losing record in, I can't even remember the last time, a long time.
Okay.
But I think not because they've missed the playoffs, 3 times. I think in the 2000s, 2010 era, whatever it is, 3 or 4 times, and I think they've never finished with a losing division record. So I think that would be a big letdown.
Okay, Bach, take it away.
This is another tough one because I'm going to say it's underrated because I think that the Steelers are a 10-6 team this year, but I do think at their worst they would be an 8-8 team.
Okay.
And I say that because I think early on, at least, and I've said it to Kyle, I think through weeks 1 and 2 maybe we're going to see Ben struggle without Antonio Brown. I mean, say what you want about Brown, he's been Ben's safety blanket for the last 6-7 seasons.
Sure.
We saw it last year where James Conner played well, but that team was missing Le'Veon Bell.
Yep.
I think you're going to see a little pains with Ben, and they may figure it out, but I think those 2 games will cost them. But yeah, I'd say underrated. I think they're a 10-6 club.
All right, we're moving back to Mock. I didn't forget anybody this time. All right, we're moving to Mock Sheen Washable, starting off with the NFC North. Take it away with the Chicago Bears prediction 10-6.
I say underrated. I think they're at least a 12-win team again. Trubisky is showing very slow growth, but growth is growth. I think that defense is for real. Offensively, that's a team they can move the ball. I think that they keep rolling and they can win at least 12 games.
All right, Riddler, 10-6. Fuck.
My name is the Red Baron Meow.
You ignorant slut.
As he spills the private soccer.
I'm not even drinking that. I don't have anything to wash it down with. I'll take it later.
Well, grab another beer.
No, I can't. I got to drive.
Have a Rita can grab. There's another a percentage beer in there. Just a mouthwash.
Red Baron, take it away. Chicago Bears, 10-6.
Underrated. I think the Bears are like Mark said, a 12-win team. The defense is for real. And I just think they're going to just wreak havoc on everyone. And I think that's enough.
All right. Maksheen, Detroit Lions, 6-10.
I think that's right on par. I mean, I love Matthew Stafford, but I think he's a guy that's hurting for a change of scenery. The defense isn't that great. And outside of Marvin Jones, I mean, there's not much there offensively. I think 6-10 is right where they'll be, possibly even generous.
Red Baron,
6-10 was the projection.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of on par. For me, it's interesting. I feel as though it's going to kind of be a Bears-dominated division. I think it's going to be kind of similar to that of the AFC East. I just think there's a lot of question marks in the North, and I don't see a lot of teams delivering this year.
Maksheen, take us away with the Green Bay Packers, 10-6.
To me, that is overrated. Yes, they have Aaron Rodgers, but what else?
Yeah.
Who's their running back again?
Exactly. What was his name? Aaron Jones.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. I mean, he was a good back when they gave him the ball.
Yeah,
For whatever
they
reason,
decided
like
to give Ty
they
Montgomery.
didn't give him the touches. And Devontae Adams is a very good wide receiver, but their defense is still not good.
They spent a lot of capital into that this offseason, though.
Yeah, but even still, I mean, we've seen these teams spend a ton of money on defense, and it doesn't always work out. The Giants a few years ago.
God, I remember that spending spree.
The Rams last year.
Hey, our defense was fine last year. We got to the Super Bowl, bitch.
But that's right. The defense was good, but for the players that they acquired, no one should have scored more than 14 points against the Rams last year. They shouldn't have.
Talib was out for 9 games.
I know, but I mean, you had Talib, you get Peters, you sign Sue, you trade for Fowler. It's just that defensive roster.
I don't even want Fowler. I don't want Fowler to be included on that. Fowler was not worth the 3rd round pick we traded for him.
But really, like, you look at that roster, that was a Madden roster.
Yeah, it was a dream team, is what it was.
But we see that where they spend a ton, and it happens more often on defense. I feel anyway than offense, where they sign all these big time free agents, and it doesn't pan out how they think. I don't know what the difference. I mean, I guess offensively, because a wide receiver can't catch every ball
unless they're called Jerry Rice.
Well, no. I mean, like, they can't catch every pass in a game. Like,
unless
they can catch all. They can catch all their targets, but it's not like Jerry Rice got 50 catches in one game. Like, the ball has to be distributed. In defense, it's a little different, where you're tackling the ball carrier.
Yes.
So I don't know, just a different dynamic. But yeah, the Packers to me are at best an 8-8 team. At best.
You heard it here first, folks. Red Baron?
Overrated. Like, I actually agree 100%, Mock. That's an 8-8 team. I think there's not a doubt in my mind that Rodgers gets hurt again. I just feel it.
Collarbone?
Collarbone, elbow.
Funny story about the collarbone. Back in our college days, whenever Riddler and I would play Madden, I'd play as the Rams and he plays the Bears. Every single game we played, it did not matter what team we played as. I would end up breaking Jay Cutler's collarbone every single game without fail.
That guy sucked. Paul loves him so much, but he was terrible.
You heard it here first, folks, in many other places.
Yeah, I was going to say, they didn't hear that here first.
Mock
That's been known
Sheen.
for a decade.
Mock Sheen, take it away. Minnesota Vikings, 9-7.
I'm going to say this is underrated. And it's because I think that the Vikings can go out and be an 11-12 win team. Their defense is still good. I mean, it's still very good. They went out, they kept who was the guy that Anthony Barr? He came back. They still have, some of the most top end defensive talent in the NFL on their team. And they have probably two, I was going to say the most dynamic, but they're not. But, I mean, you have Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs who are bona fide wide receivers. They're both
They're good.
very
They're good. No doubt about it.
And you have Kirk Cousins, who to me is like the king of mediocre quarterbacks, but can throw the ball relatively well. Dalvin Cook's going to get hurt, but he'll give you 5 good games.
Is Kirk Cousins the new Andy Dalton line?
He's better than Andy Dalton.
Okay.
But I guess he could be the new one because Dalton's going to be out of the league soon. But
right.
But yeah, I think they can be an 11-12 win team with the talent they have.
Red Baron?
I think overrated. I think that's a 7-win team. And like I said, I just feel like the Bears defense is for real, and that's enough. I think they're just going to terrorize the quarterbacks. And I mean, I like Kirk Cousins a lot. It just, there's something that he lacks. I don't know if he just
talent.
Well, it's not like he can throw the ball. He's fairly accurate. He's not intense. The most intense moment was the "you like that," and I don't think
Come on. Give me some Kirk Cousins.
Like that's like the most emotion we've ever seen out of him. That one time, it just Tom Brady. I hate him, but at least he's like yelling at his offensive line. Kirk is just like smiling, like looking at the clipboard.
Good game, guys. Good game.
Yeah, it's there's no intensity there, and the team.
When are you just going to admit that you like Tom Brady?
Never. Well, if we were going to place together, maybe. But that will be the moment.
All right.
Where did we buy a house just so I could hear you say it?
He shoots me an email. Hey, saw the show. Thinking about getting a place together.
Tom Brady is my favorite player of all time.
How does Hyannisport, Cape Cod sound? I'll be there.
All right, gentlemen, we're halfway, so we're going to speed things up real quick.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no break. This is a fun segment, though.
Yeah.
I'm liking it. I'm actually having a shot of private stock
to spice things up.
Spice things up. Oh, the gas tank just at a freak out moment.
All right, so halfway through, we're going to rock and roll through this. Red Baron, you're starting us off on the AFC South. Start us off with the Houston Texans going 9-7.
Underrated, but only barely. I think it's a 10-6 team. I like the Texans a lot. As a homer and just a football watcher, I think there's a lot of talent there. I think Watson can deliver. I think that defense, when the defense is on, the can change games. There are times that defense isn't on. It's very fluky. I don't know why. This is one of the weird teams that they sometimes just don't deliver, and it's evident. But when they're on, they're on. And so I think it's enough for them to win 10 games.
All right. Makshin?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because they have so much talent, but it never seems to like come together. 9-7, 10-6 to me is pretty spot on. I mean, Deshaun Watson to me, I think, has the potential to become a top 5 quarterback at some point in his career, especially knowing that he's paired with, probably the best receiver in the league right now, DeAndre Hopkins. But like Kendall just said, the defense sometimes has these great games and then some really bad games. So I put him right in that 9-7 range.
Overrated 8-8. Red Baron, take it away. Indianapolis Colts 10-6.
Underrated. I think.
Wow.
I think the Colts get it together this year.
You say that like a team didn't just make it to the divisional playoffs last year.
Well, I say it by like they win more commandingly, I guess. This year would be the year that we see Andrew Luck really have an explosive season where they go out and they win 12 games and they beat their opponents by like 15, 20 points.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm anticipating. I just that division is very up for grabs. And I just feel that they of the teams, I think of the 3 teams that I feel kind of will jockey for position, kind of have the strongest influence and have the best chance to take over.
All right, Makshin.
I think that is underrated.
Okay.
I think Colts have the potential to be a 12 to 14 win team. I mean, they could have been that last year. We just had to watch Andrew Luck shake the rust. This is a team that their defense very quickly went from god-awful to very good. Their offensive line is super talented. They have, Marlon Mack, who I think can be a top 10 running back, and they have good options behind him as the change of paces. Andrew Luck this year, I think, is going to be back to the Andrew Luck we know and love. 12 wins minimum.
Okay. All right. So up next, we have probably the most divisive one on this division. I don't know.
A lot of weird words you're throwing around there.
Are you trying to do division?
Divisive in the division. It just felt weird to say. Jacksonville Jaguars 8-8. Take us away.
I think 8-8 is actually very on par. With the signing of Nick Foles there, I think there's a lot of hope that they'll capture that magic of that Super Bowl season, and I think there's some potential there. I just, I feel like there's more question marks than answers there. The defense is good, but what I'm seeing after last year, not great, and I think that trend continues. I think we see the same defense we saw last year, not as dominant, a team easily frustrated. one that doesn't take over games like it did 2 years prior. Bless you. And I don't see Nick Foles going out and having games.
Come on, this is Big Dick Nick we're talking about.
Yeah, I witness history, but I see Nick Foles being out. The guy goes out there, he throws a touchdown and throws for 237 yards, and that's just about it. And the Jaguars, the games they win by a field goal.
You know?
I think 8-8 is their scenario. I don't think that they're that great. I think Fournette's going to be frustrated all year when he's not hurt. Jalen Ramsey can't stop talking and then getting burned. It's a team that, at best, I think they're 8-8.
Okay. We're going to move on to the Tennessee Titans, finish out the AFC. I'm sorry, we're going to finish out the AFC South. We still have one more AFC division to go. Tennessee Titans, 7-9.
Overrated, but in that same realm. So for me, that's a 5-6 win team. The Titans, they show promise. It seems like Mariota perhaps is not the guy. He's good. It's just, I don't know if he fits a pro scheme. I don't know. He runs the ball effectively. He can make the throws, but he doesn't have a command of an offense, I feel.
He plays hurt a lot.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know. I like Derrick Henry. Souls, battles. Derrick Henry is a good running back. He's a very traditional running back, and perhaps that doesn't fit in with this throw happy NFL, but he's a good running back. He's serviceable. So that's a bright spot. Defense is old, and I just think that the three other teams in that division are just better, and that's kind of what it boils down to. So it's a 5-6 win team for me.
Maksheen?
I say overrated as well. I mean, this is, again, a team that, as much as I like Marcus Mariota and I think he can be very good, there's just no offensive weapons around him. Again, I like Derrick Henry, but there's no one to throw the ball to. Delaney Walker, I think, just had his 85th birthday.
You send him flowers?
I mean, who's a wide receiver for Tennessee?
Exactly.
Like, it's just they don't have the team around him. At best, 5 wins, maybe. It's just the front office is doing Mariota a disservice if they plan to stick with Mariota. If the plan is to move on from Mariota, then I get it. But if he's their long-term option, they're doing him a great disservice.
Yeah.
Moving on to the NFC South. Maksheen.
How many are left?
We have the NFC South, the AFC West, and the NFC West. 3 more.
Yeah. All right.
Wait, you want to go to bed, Mock?
I'm falling asleep over here.
No, we got this.
Come on,
it's all right.
it's a normal show night. You got a half hour on you?
I got it.
All right, we're gonna do this. Atlanta Falcons, 8-8. Let's go, Maksheen.
8-8. I say underrated. I mean, this is a team that last year their defense got decimated by injuries. I mean, even they lost Devonta Freeman. He's coming back. You still have Matt Ryan, who I think is still a good quarterback. I don't think he's MVP caliber, but he's still good. You have Julio Jones. You still have Calvin Ridley. Is Sanu still there?
Yeah.
No.
No? Are you sure?
No, I'm not, but
I thought he was. I thought he was there for a little while.
But now you're getting all these defensive pieces back. This is a team that, to me, that's going to win at least 10 games.
he is still there. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. The Falcons are the perfect team. Good one year, bad the next. Good
Disagree. We're going to talk about that team next.
So I think that the Falcons are underrated. I think that's a 12-win team. I think they'll be, you can never, gauge injuries, but I think this year the luck will be on their side. They'll be less injured. Ryan will perform. I think they're really big on the wide receiver they drafted.
Ridley.
Yes, thank you. I think they're really big on him.
Brother Ryan Ridley, just drafted by the Chicago Bears.
And as long as Julio Jones is suiting up, that guy is a menace to any secondary out there. So I think they got a lot of promise. I think it's a 12-win team.
Moving on next. The most flip-floppy team in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers, is an even year or an odd year. They are 7-9 right now. Take it away, Makshin.
I'm gonna say underrated. I think last season we saw Cam Newton playing with a dead arm. He was playing hurt. He wasn't able to throw. Greg Olsen was hurt all season, and they were still a decent team. I think McCaffrey's going to take a step forward this year. I think Cam returns to form. Greg Olsen, I mean, I don't know. He's another one. He's old and hurt. But I think that this team can be a 9-7, 10-6 team. I don't think they're going to set the world on fire and make this big playoff push, but I think that they can win some games and make a step forward.
I disagree. I think that team is right where they're at, 7-9. I think
You're wrong.
I think the best of Cam is behind us. I think we saw a lot of great Cam Newton. I mean, the guy can still play football effectively, but I just think the influence that he has, on the field is not there anymore. McCaffrey, I think, will be explosive. Olsen, he's just been getting injured now. I just think he's getting to the point where he's thinking about probably hanging it up. And defensively, it's not the same squad as Super Bowl 50. Obviously we've seen it, and it hasn't returned.
Yeah.
So I just think they're 7-9. They'll be 7-9.
All right.
Hey, they still have Cameron Artis-Payne.
I don't know. I don't know if he plays football anymore.
Because I know that guy screwed me a couple of times in fantasy.
That guy may have like a chop shop in South Carolina.
Cameron Artis-Payne is still playing on the Carolina Panthers.
Really?
Yeah. Last year at 19 carries for 69 yards.
Wow. Well, good for him.
19 for 69.
Yeah, he had a 2-yard average.
Yikes.
Wasn't great.
Well, maybe he was moonlighting at that chop shop. Who knows?
All right.
I gotta go. My shift starts in 20 minutes.
We're coming back to a team that is tied for the second highest prediction. New Orleans Saints 11-5. Makshin takes away.
I think that's pretty on par. As good as Drew Brees has been, we're seeing him throw the ball less. Outside of Michael Thomas, I don't think they have any really big receiving threats.
You never know. Doug Baldwin's available.
Listen, Doug Baldwin is not going to play.
That's where I'd go if I was Doug Baldwin.
But again, now I'm thinking. I mean, I'm not totally
Start
correct in
calls.
saying there's no. I mean, they have Jared Cook. Kamara's deadly out of the backfield, but now it's the Kamara show. There is no Mark Ingram.
They have Taysom Hill. I don't know if you recall.
Yeah, but that's a guy. He's just quarterback sneaking.
Now here's a guy.
But the Saints, I think 11 is right on par. Their defense still isn't that great. I mean, their defense gives up points.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if the offense will be able to keep the pace that they had last season.
Take a small step back, but that's where they're at.
But that's it's hard to look at 11 wins and say that's a step back. I mean, that's still a very successful football season.
It's Super Bowl or bust for them this year, though, I think.
I think they can make a run.
Red
Baron, would you care to chime in?
Yeah, I think. Who do I care to chime in? I'm the only other guy here. Come on now, Mass. 11-5 is on par. I think they play second fiddle to Atlanta this year, but I think Drew Brees is still effective. To the day he retires, will be effective. I think we see a return of Atlanta and New Orleans both going to the playoffs. It was a very intense yawn there, Mark. I thought we were in like a tunnel for a second. I'm
fighting for you, fellas.
I do agree that with the Kamara being the guy now, it does kind of cast some can this guy deliver or not? But I don't think that will be a problem. And I think that the defense proved to us last year that we can stay in games and we can try to generate some turnovers. I think it's good enough.
All right. This should be probably the easiest one on this list. Tampa Bay 6-10. Mock?
I mean, I'm trying to run through their roster quick. I mean, there's
Exactly.
nothing in Tampa.
You got
That-
Jameis,
that-
you got Mike Evans, you don't even have Geno Atkins on the defensive side of the ball anymore. Deshaun Jackson's gone. You got Bruce Arians there.
Geno Atkins, he was a Buck.
No, not Geno Atkins. Who's the other defensive tackle I'm thinking of?
McCoy.
Gerald McCoy.
Trevor Coy.
Again with the G in the first.
I don't like. Even I love Mike Evans, but that's a team that I look at and I'm just like, like
Yeah.
the Jameis. I think Jameis is gonna be a backup next season. 6 wins is their high. I mean, I don't think they win 6 games, but Bruce Arians is a good coach. So
Overrated. Got it.
On par, 6-10. You know, just that the division is too good, and they're not going to succeed in it.
No.
It's just one of those things. You know, like Mark said. You know, Bruce Arians is a good coach. I think he can mold a lot of talent. I just feel as though that offense is going nowhere. I don't even know the direction they're going. It's like, hey, we got Mike Evans, and this is what we got.
That's what we got.
Trade Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, and I just, I've never really cared for Jameis Winston. I don't know.
Let's see some W's, boys.
Yeah, we'll be waiting with the rest of the league. So
Yeah, no kidding.
6-10.
Denver Broncos 6-10. Take us away, Baron.
Underrated. I think that team can win 9 games. We discussed kind of in a little bit length before. I think Flacco will benefit from the change of scenery. I really like the running game. I think that they will do as well as they did last year. And that defense is really good, in my opinion.
You got Von Miller.
And I think Chubb will really,
You got Chris
Fine.
So you know I'm
Fine
doing
as
the
form.
finger thing.
well, I got no one to do. Matt said I could do it. Chubb?
I did it. I'm doing it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I couldn't see you.
Yeah, I know. I think it's very similar to Kendall, but I think that the Broncos at best are 8-8. I think Flacco plays well, but again, like the defense has lost pieces. Yes, you still have Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, but Chris Harris has showed that he doesn't want to play for Denver. And there's no guarantee. I mean, I guess there's no guarantee on any player, but Emmanuel Sanders is always hurt. On the field, he's talented, but he's always hurt. Sutton, we could see step up and be a 1 maybe, and Philip Lindsay is great, but he's another guy that got hurt towards the end. Royce Freeman was very hot and cold. So they can win more, but I see them finishing around an 8-8 type team.
Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be a fun one. Baron, take us away with their prediction of 11-5.
You know what? I'm gonna say overrated, but just barely. I think that team wins 10 games. I think they go 10-6. Some question marks there. Offensively, we don't know what it's going to be like without Hunt, and we don't know what the Hill situation is going to pan out to be. Mahomes, I think, will be fine. I think he'll play well. Not 50 touchdowns, good, but he'll play good enough. He's a great competitor, and I think there's some people that just kind of get the game, that get the position. I think Mahomes will be fine. That defense is atrocious. But the mantra for Kansas City last year was outscore, and I think they can kind of do that again, like in a microcosm. So I think 10 wins is appropriate.
Do you think they win their division?
No, I don't.
Okay. Mark Sheen.
The Chiefs, I don't know. Like, I don't think they're going to be the team they were last year. Their defense is bad. I mean, yeah, they signed Tyrann Mathieu. Okay. They lost their 2 probably most explosive weapons. I see them being a 9-7 team.
Do you see them winning their division?
No.
Cool. Let's go into what we know is going to win that division. Baron, take us away with the LA Chargers.
What's their projected record?
12-4.
I agree. I think that's a perfect record, and I think they will achieve that. I think Rivers is still playing well enough. I hear a lot of snickering.
Because now that what you're saying, I hear you talking. There's here.
This whole, I don't know if it's the allergies or we're drinking or what, but
Dude, I'm
it's
dying
tough. It's
so
tough
bad
in
over
here. I don't know.
I have on
There's a
like
high
3 different
pollen
allergy
count in the
pills.
Yeah. But I'm really big on Melvin Gordon there. I think that he can deliver. Still, Antonio Gates, he's kind of in the twilight of his career, but the guy gets it done. I think Hunter Henry will return to form. And that defense was kind of a surprise in kind of, in my opinion. Not that they were bad, but just like they stepped up in a lot of ways, and I think they're the team that kind of is in the driver's seat now for the West.
They might have the best safety duo in the league between Derwin James and Sir Adderley.
For sure.
Maxine, 12-4.
I think that's right on par for them. Phillip Rivers, the last couple of years, I think has been playing like his best football. Melvin Gordon's a stud, although I think this next season he gets scaled back a bit. I think Austin Eckler will take on more work, but they have a very good defense. They have a good receiving core. They have all the proper pieces you need to be a good team. So I think 12 wins is right on par.
Let's finish out the AFC West with the Oakland Raiders. Red Baron, take us away. 5-11.
Yeah, I think that's actually on par. They made a lot of big moves. Derek Carr is a good quarterback. He's fine. I just think that this is going to be the year where they kind of try to figure it out. Now, you can make the argument they've been trying to figure it out this whole time. The past 2 years. Since post Derek Carr injury. I just feel like they're making the right strides. It's just that they're in a division that's just teams are better than they are at this point, and I think they're in it for the long haul, and it will pay off for them late.
But right to Vegas.
Yeah, when they get to maybe that's all it takes. They get the momentum. The fan base will always be with them. But I think at this stage in the game, they're a 5-win team. It's just my feelings.
Maxine.
I agree with that. I mean, we said it before. I think at best they win 6-7 games, and that's really if everything comes together. But I think realistically they're 5 wins.
Okay. For the record, per the 2018 schedule, like going off those records, Oakland has the hardest schedule in the NFL next year.
Wow. Yeah.
You have to figure the division they're playing in, plus, they're
Right.
playing like the Bears and stuff like that. Let's finish it off with the last division, NFC West. Maxine, take us away with the Arizona Cardinals, 4-12. Bit of a laugh there.
I think that's pretty fair, considering it's a team that has an absolutely terrible offensive line, a average to above average, I guess, defense, and not much happening outside of David Johnson. I mean, Kyler Murray, who knows? But to me, I don't see him coming in and being an immediate game winner. I mean, Fitzgerald's going to do Fitzgerald things, but I mean, that guy's like 500 years old, so you can't put your whole season on him. So yeah, I think 4 or 5 wins is right where they'll be.
Cool. Red Baron?
I'm going to say slightly underrated. I think that the team can win 6 games. Mock brought up a lot of good points. That defense, I don't even know what to say about him.
Come on, flatter me.
I think that Kyler Murray will live up to some of the hype. That there will be some moments where it's just like absolute explosiveness, and those moments will be enough to win them games.
Yeah,
I just don't think that there is enough there with that team, like weapon wise, to translate to more wins than that. But I think 4 wins is projected.
Yes.
I think that they could probably string together, a couple more than that. So,
all right. Machine, take us away with the one that I hate the most. San Francisco 49ers. They have an 8-8 projected record.
Huh. This is an interesting one because their starting quarterback, we haven't ever really seen play an entire season of starting quarterback. I'm personally not sold on Garoppolo. I think he's another New England quarterback that looked good in New England. I mean, there's not much there offensively. Matt Breida's whatever, but he's a guy that somehow looks like he gets a career-ending injury every week and somehow plays the next week. I mean, yeah, McKinnon's coming back, but wide receiver-wise, there's not much there. Defensively, who knows? I mean, Nick Bosa, yeah, is good, but he hasn't played an NFL snap yet. So 8-8, I think, is a decent guess to give them. Tell me I'm right.
Yeah. I actually like Garoppolo a lot. I think he's a real deal. But I don't have
a pizza shop.
He did. In fact, last time the pizza shop was in business was actually at your house, Mass.
That's true.
That's the last time the place was cooking up calzones. Unfortunately, there's just too much. What is going on over in Massachusetts?
Mock is getting prepped for bed.
Blowing his nose. Sounds like the curtains and like
it was curtains. Good call.
Yeah. It's just we haven't seen anything from Garoppolo, and until we do, there's not really much to go on. The defense is, great. It's a defense that
It's a defense.
It's a defense that they play the position.
It's an 8-8 defense.
Exactly, and that's all you can go on. It's just Breida
they're the biggest wild card for me this year.
Right. I mean, they could turn out to be explosive. They may win 2 games. I don't know. So I think somewhere in the middle 8-8 is a very fair assumption.
One of the things that made me laugh reading this prediction is talking about how they ended last year. They ended 4-12 as a dumpster fire thanks to a series of injuries so complete and devastating that it might as well have been an Egyptian plague, which is very funny to me. Seattle Seahawks 10-6. Machine.
See, this is another interesting one because the Seahawks defense, is one aging, and the Legion of Boom is gone. They don't have an established run game, although they are a run-first team. Russell Wilson, to me, is a top 5 quarterback. I think he's one of the best in the league, but he doesn't have viable throwing options, at least at the moment.
And he just lost his safety blanket.
Exactly. So to me, 10-6 is a lofty goal, but I mean Russell Wilson, I can't count him out, so I'm gonna say that's right on par.
So let me ask you: do you remember how much what the record was they finished with last year?
I don't off the top of my head.
No, I'll check it in a minute. But last year, everybody wrote them off, saying this was a rebuilding year.
I did. I thought they were a 4-win team last year.
Well, I didn't think they were that low. I thought they were going to be at least 7-9. But they came storming back. In your opinion, do you think they got better?
I think that Pete Carroll always finds a way to win with players we don't know.
Case in point, Doug Baldwin being a undrafted wide receiver and being a top 5 quarterback's favorite receiving weapon.
Yeah.
It really is an interesting case study to me because you always got the Patriots who you can never count out because they're always going to win, but they're always built like a team that's going to win. Then you got the Seahawks as a team that you always want to count out because of the way that the team is built. But you never can because they're the motherfucking Seahawks and they find a way to ruin shit. And god damn, it just pisses me off so much. I think Red Baron is trying to grab a beer. Let's see. Yeah, he's sneaking back in here.
Was it like a knee to the table?
No, I think he caught a cord. So, Red Baron, Mock has told us that 10-6 is just where the Seahawks are going to finish. What do you think?
I think that the Seahawks are. I think. What was the projected?
10-6.
10-6. I think that's slightly overrated. I think that Russell Wilson is that dude and he is that good. I just think that team will take a step back this year.
The same step back we've been saying they've been taking for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Mock Sheen, to answer your question, they finished 10-6 last year.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they were a team that we thought was going to suck last year, and they made the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that just this year, we'll see a team go. They'll go 8-8. It'll be the Russell Wilson show, and it'll be just fine. He'll move the ball around. He'll be just as effective. I just think that the defense is, the Legion of Boom. We've said it a million times. That the Legion of Boom is no more. Their defense is kind of lacks any sort of identity. It just, it just kind of they're people placeholders. So yeah, I think it's overrated. They'll go 8-8.
All right, gentlemen. Last team. The Los Angeles Rams have a projected record of 10-6. Mock Sheen, take us away.
I put that right where I think they would be.
Okay.
I think Gurley gets dialed back big time next season. With that being said, I think they'll still move the ball. I mean, Goff can move the ball. You still have Cooks. You have Kupp coming back. And you have Josh Reynolds, who I think is probably one of the most underrated wide receivers to me in the league. And you have Robert Woods. I mean, they still have a very good offensive team. And defensively, they have all the star power you could imagine. It's just they got to play together.
Yes.
So I put them in that 10-6, 11-5 range.
Red Baron? I think underrated. I think the Rams would be just as good as last year, if not better. I just, you go to the Super Bowl and you don't deliver. It's not an uncommon occurrence, for good teams. Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl and laid an absolute egg, essentially. I think that team will return to form. I think that team will win the division outright. That's for me. That's a 14-win team.
So what did Marino do the year after that goose egg?
They went Marino basically the years that he wasn't injured, he always played well. I mean, we're talking.
Do you know the answer to that question?
I don't.
Okay.
I was curious.
I mean, we're talking about the late '80s. I think Marino went twice. I think he went to the Super Bowl twice. I mean, I could be wrong. I have to double check that, but he didn't deliver. Sorry, but yeah, I think that team is in no trouble. I don't think there'll be a Super Bowl hangover for this team, just because of the nature of how effective that defense is. Age, or not, I think that it's the best team in that division, and it will be evident.
Bracket break.
Bracket break time.
Oh
I didn't hit it right.
Try it again. There you go. Bracket break.
Yes, you want me to fix your thing?
Sure.
All right. So, being that we have a small supporting cast tonight, Rita actually was kind enough to draw us up a bracket tonight. I don't know if Baron knows what the bracket is. I certainly don't, and I know Mock doesn't. So this is going to be interesting. Red Baron, do you know what this bracket is?
I have no idea. I had no idea that she even had any idea what a bracket was.
So this is going to be interesting, everybody. Rita, take us away with your bracket. You may want to put your headphones on because Mock is going to talk.
Well, I can hear them. They're so loud
Okay.
that I can hear them. See, I just heard them cough.
All right.
So a disclaimer. I don't know how many. I know it has to be an even number, but I don't know how many total pairs there have to be. So I just did 10 pairs.
All right.
All right, let's see how it goes.
And there's no east or west or whatever. It's just
That's fine. Just give us
whatever.
your bracket. Give us your bracket.
Yeah, give it to us. Let's go.
All right. So for the first part, well, the title is athletes turned actors.
Oh, all right.
There are a few WWE superstars, but they were not the basis on which this is based.
All right.
Okay.
I don't hate this bracket already.
No, it should be good.
All right. Chuck Norris versus Andre the Giant.
I'm taking Andre, if only for his role in Princess Bride, because I fucking love that role.
You know, I got to give it to Chuck, because Chuck Norris just, you know, he transcends, you know, the role.
He was the first meme.
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, you know.
Maxine?
Can you repeat the question?
Chuck Norris versus Andre the Giant, athlete turned actor.
Chuck Norris.
All right, Chuck Norris is moving on.
Next, and I purposely put these two together after I did my research. Howie Long versus Terry Bradshaw.
Ooh. I got to give it up to Howie Long, if only because he's Chris's dad.
Terry.
I got to give it to Terry. I'm sorry, man. Terry Bradshaw is way more ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I know you got to be loyal. I understand it. But Terry Bradshaw, I mean, I wish he was in more stuff, honestly.
Did you know he was in Everybody Loves Raymond?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
I saw him on TV the other day, and I was like, "Is that Terry fucking
Not
Bradshaw?"
to mention his role on The Masked Singer.
That's true.
But he was in like a lot of movies. There was a movie where he plays like somebody's dad, and he like walks in on like a couple like getting it on.
Yeah, that sounds like a very Terry Bradshaw thing to do.
I can't think of what movie it is, but
All right, what else do we got, Rita?
All right. Lou Ferrigno versus Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, come on.
Mock.
Arnold.
All right.
Yeah, come on. Lou Ferrigno, I mean, he's great and all, but come on.
All right. Also, other disclaimers. Some of these people, I'm not really sure who they are, but they were on a list. So here we go.
Cool.
I know who The Rock is.
I would hope.
So The Rock versus Jim Brown.
Jim
Brown? Really? You don't know who Jim Brown is?
He played some football.
You know,
He played some football.
he
Okay.
played some, I mean, you know, basically one of the guys who revolutionized the position.
Jim Brown was in Mars Attacks. He wins.
Yeah.
Jim Brown is the greatest running back to ever play the game.
Jim Brown.
Who was he going up against?
The Rock.
Oh, The Rock.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really like The Rock in any of his movies.
The Rock, hands down, fucking The Rock.
Listen, I love him as a wrestler. He's a great character.
I
but
love.
I'm not into it.
His roles are so stupid half the time. It's great.
I get it. I don't know.
All right. Carl Weathers versus Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, yeah. Airplane alone was good enough for me.
All right. Second division or whatever.
Second round.
Yeah, that.
We got to hurry up.
Shaquille O'Neal. And then the other one, I don't know which one is more politically correct. Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner? I know Caitlyn now.
Well,
but...
Shaq regardless.
Okay.
Shaq.
Well, I don't want anyone to like come after me.
No one's going to come. What? I mean, Shaq does like the Ice Yacht commercials, so therefore.
He was in a movie.
Oh, and the general.
Well, I know that.
Don't forget the general.
Oh, that's right. He's in the general car insurance commercials.
I mean, he's just like one of the greatest, like across the board personalities.
Okay.
Shaq Fu.
John Cena versus Bob Uecker.
John Cena.
John Cena, I
if
guess.
only for his role in the Marine and how over the top stupid it was.
Okay. Michael Jordan versus Jason Lee.
Michael Jordan, Space Jam all the way.
Michael Jordan.
Mock.
Jordan.
All right.
Okay. Hulk Hogan versus Rosie Greer.
Hulk Hogan.
Maxine.
Hogan.
Yeah.
The last one is Rick Fox versus Brian Bosworth.
The Boz.
The Boz. Only Rick Fox movie, I think. He was in Holes, right?
Was he really?
He was in something else, but I didn't read what it was. But yes, Holes.
He was in Holes. There's the only thing I can think
Who
of.
was
in.
he?
He was Sweet Feet.
Oh my God, he was.
Because, and here's another dumb Rita moment. I thought that the guy who's on one of the Sports Center shows who kind of looks like Rick Fox, but recently just retired from whatever sport it was that he played. You would know him as soon as you saw him, but
Jason Taylor.
no, no.
I
We'll
don't-
figure that out at a later time.
All
but-
right. We're going
Um,
into the second round.
Yep. So this is 3 matches: Chuck Norris versus Shaq.
Give me Chuck.
You know, I'm gonna err on the side of Shaq on this one. You know,
Kazam.
Oh, really?
I
We're
know-
giving it to Shaq over Chuck?
Listen, I get it, but you know, Chuck
Disappointed.
Chuck hasn't been in like anything recently. You know, for
He's
a
in the
great low rate you can
Expendables.
pay online, go to the General and Shaq sometime. You know, it's just like
He was in Expendables,
okay, great.
All right.
where he made a Chuck Norris joke.
John Cena versus Terry Bradshaw.
Da, 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 da.
I'll give it a Cena just because he's in a lot of stuff recently.
Mock.
What are the 2 options?
Mark,
Mock is follow-
we're
Mock is-
almost there. We got to get through this so you get social, then we're out of here.
John Cena, Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw. Cena's a terrible actor.
John Cena. Cena's moving on.
Michael Jordan versus Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
Jordan.
Oh, I give it Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
Dumb.
Schwarzenegger.
Hulk versus Jim Brown.
Oh, Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
Jim.
And then Brian Bosworth versus Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem
Kareem
Abdul-Jabbar.
Abdul-Jabbar.
All right, so Kareem gets a pass because I don't know how to do math. So it's Shaq versus Cena.
How does this bracket work?
Don't worry about it. We're just going with it. I do want to see it afterwards, though.
It's just a sticky note in my computer that I keep typing and re-erasing.
Good. All right. Continuing on.
Shaq versus Cena.
Shaq.
Cena.
Shaq.
Oh,
Take that, John.
You scrub.
Arnold versus Jim Brown.
Arnold.
Jim.
Red Baron, you better make the right fucking decision here. The Governator is coming for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a Schwarzenegger.
All right,
Fucking
so this time
turncoat.
Shaq gets a bye.
All right.
Arnold versus Kareem.
Kareem.
Arnold.
Oh, come on. An airplane is better than any role Schwarzenegger has been in.
Put the cookie down. It's not a
Kareem.
tumor.
Mock?
He said Kareem.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Kareem.
You don't have your headphones on.
No, you were talking over him. And finally, Shaq versus Kareem.
Yeah, see, this is the good way to end it.
See, the bias worked.
Kareem. We lost Mock.
I said Shaq.
Oh, here he is. He's back. You were reconnecting. on
So
Skype for a second.
you're the tiebreaker.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Airplane wins.
Airplane is one of my favorite movies. Therefore, it wins.
I like
All right.
brackets.
We're
Hit
gonna
the bell.
Hit the bell.
That's how it ends.
Bracket break.
There we go. You've only been on every show.
I'm very busy.
I don't understand.
All right, Mock. Did you do a Twitter poll this week?
No.
All right.
Excellent. We have just enough time for some beer reviews
Yeah.
and where we can find us on social. Max, you want to tell us about Super Duper Double Citra?
Super Duper Double Citra is pretty super. It's a lot of Citra. 3 stars. I'd get it again.
Nice. I left my beer book over there. I'm going to fill it out on the fly.
All right.
I'll do a review right now.
Do you have a pen?
I don't, but
All right.
that's all right. I had from Beard Brewing in Stonington, Connecticut. Like to go there sometime. It's a cool spot. Let's see if I can catch this pen. Didn't catch the pen. You like it a juice? This was a beer that Souls bought a couple weeks back, and I didn't have a chance to try it till now. It's a Dole IPA, 7% percentage there. I don't remember how much it cost. It was probably in like the $13 range. It's pretty good. It's kind of on par with a lot of these IPAs that are kind of trying to do that juicy type thing. I mean, it was good. I would definitely get again. I'll give it 3 stars. Absolutely would get again. Pretty easy drink, not too heavy. And I finished off with a beer that I had already. It was Citra Brow. It's all right. Not much to say about it.
Cool. Mock, how is that American wheat ale?
It was not that great.
No? Tell us about it.
I mean, could definitely get the bread, like the wheatness. As it warmed up, it got worse. I didn't care for it super much, but I guess I would get it again, like if it was there.
Okay.
3 stars.
Okay. What'd you finish off with? You had the Budweiser, right?
Yeah, I didn't get into those.
Oh, all right. So we don't even need to review them. But you know what, Mock, where can they find us?
Listen, you guys can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Getting Sports with Drunk. Twitter is GSWD_4. Be sure to subscribe on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Spotify.
Anywhere
And
you can. Oh,
there-
God.
There may be an announcement.
Listen, I don't do that normally. Okay, I tried.
Well, here, I didn't think anyone was going to try and take that cue because we whiffed on the Twitter handle one, so I figured we're just rolling through.
All right.
But we may have an announcement coming soon. I'm trying to. I got something in the works.
Oh, that's exciting.
I like stuff in the works.
All
right.
I mean, before we sign off, too, next Monday is a big moment for us here at Getting Sports with the Drunk.
Well, let's just hope we actually have people here.
I think we will. This was a very unique set of circumstances.
I had fun.
Listen, we had some technical difficulties in the beginning, but I think we put together a decent show
For on the fly as we did. Yeah.
for on the fly. Mock, escaping in from Massachusetts for work. Riddler couldn't make it; he was sick. Jeff couldn't make it. Kyle couldn't make it. I think this was a good show for what it's worth.
Rita chiming in for her bracket.
Now,
That certainly was fun.
Rita bailed us out, late, and it was fun. Not a traditional Getting Sports with Drunk show. I mean, the last time we only had 3 people on.
It was probably what? You, Souls, and Riddler?
Well,
Or
there was
you, Mock and Riddler?
actually there was a time this past summer where Mock and Souls were coaching baseball, and it was just Riddler and I for the end of the show, but for an entire show, just like 3 people. We're talking way, way back. So it worked out fine.
Yeah, I think it did.
So
Make sure to use the hashtag GSWD for all your daily needs.
yeah, I get kind of late on that.
That's all right.
That's all right. I just wanted to sprinkle that in there. But Masso, I give you some credit because you kind of stepped in. Oh, a faceplate came off the outlet.
God damn it. All right. Well, it was a fun night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And, it was a good time. I'm happy that this didn't happen for the 100th episode, but I'm happy that something like this did happen because it's a lot of fun just trying to do this on the fly rather than trying to pre-plan this. But with that said, I'm Mass.
Mock.
And I'm the Red Baron.
Meow.
Later, fellas.
See ya.
Yeah.